Charges on the beat.
To get your information. To spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Monrovia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Funjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat keep on graduate, my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba. What I want?
Okay, the pleasant good evening, good afternoon, good morning, just wherever you are. Welcome to yet another edition of Spoon Talk, your most preferred nighttime show, right here in Monrovia, Liberia. And of course, we are back here again to serve you with a lot of information and, of course, analysis. My name is Yekezi Zobel. I'm sitting in this evening as your producer, and let's now go over to the team there from the diaspora to begin the show. Good evening.
Good evening, Yekezi. Dr. Richardson, you are muted.
You are muted, Doc.
Good day. How are you guys doing today?
Well,
I'm good by God's grace.
God money us. We are great.
That's great. We want to welcome all of our listeners and viewers to Spoon Talk. This is the place you come to get your news, and we are just going to dissect the news to you and feed it back to you so you can be an informed Liberian. So we're going to have our panelists rolling in. Before we do that, I'm going to ask Zekesi and Good Day to tell us about the trending news in Liberia, so you can get caught up with information that perhaps you didn't get the opportunity to hear early on. And then what happens is we have a guest today. Victoria Kwekwe is coming in. She's going to be here for maybe about an hour, speaking to us about her experience as a woman in the political space in Liberia. And she's also going to be telling us about the biometric process in Liberia. And of course, our panelists will be looking at some trending issues and giving their opinions about those trending issues. So, Yekesi, you want to tell us what's going on in our beloved country, Liberia?
Yeah. So today is the 5th day of the biometric voters registration process. And our reporters were able to visit a lot of the centers. And according to them, there are still long queues, at the various centers. People are there eager to get registered, but they are complaining about the snail pace of the process, that the process is very, very slow. and some of them even observe that at some of the centers, the equipment being used, were still malfunctioning. At some point in time, the equipment will run out of electricity, and they have to wait to charge the solar panel or whatever they're using, before they can again commence the process, while people are, in long queues and waiting and waiting. Some people get bored in the process, and they go home. And so a few of the individuals who were spoken to called on the National Elections Commission to, kind of extend the period for the biometric voters registration, because they believe that due to the snail pace of the process, a lot of people are not going to register. And also, I think the most trending news right now has to do with Liberia's draw with South Africa in sports. Uh, well, Liberia drew 2-2, and that is currently making rounds on social media. The first half of the game, Liberia went down 2 goals, one goal to 0, and the second half, 2 goals. And later on, there were some changes made by the coach, and Liberia was able to, draw the game. But Tunia Tisdale is the most talked about player currently in Liberia. Everybody's praising his performance in the game tonight,
Nice.
because yes, he scored a goal and he also, gave an assist.
Wow.
And also,
his name is again, Tony and what?
Tunia Tisdale.
Teasdale.
Yeah, Trsdell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Good, Tony, and congratulations to Lone Star. I'm happy to hear that news today.
Yeah. And also a former senatorial aspirant here in Monrovia County, in person of Sheikh Mustafa Kwayete, today held a press conference announcing his intention to contest the presidency. Kwayete had contested the Monrovia County senatorial election twice, and he's been massively defeated. But this time around, he says he wants to give the presidential election a trial. And according to him, his intention, to be president of Liberia is to, replace poor leadership with a trustworthy, reliable, accountable, and a compassionate one, as opposed to what is currently being done by President George Weah and what has been done by previous leaders in the past. He said he vowed to, enhance the security system, especially the security infrastructure in the country, to bring about reform in the justice system and ensure fair remuneration and welfare for judicial personnel across the country. And just a few hours ago, in the Plankview community in district number 13, where Edward Papi Flomo is the representative, there was a land dispute that reportedly led to several individuals, getting injured. The land in question, according to report, is a government land, but a lot of citizens have occupied the land or are currently occupying the land and are claiming ownership of the land. So there's a dispute there that the police had to intervene, to avoid that process escalating. Yeah, so far so good. Those are some of the major training developments in Liberia for now.
Thank you very much, Yekesi. Once again, bravo to the Lone Star team. You're making us proud. I want to congratulate Tony and Tisdale for his job well done on the soccer field. So bravo again. At least we heard one good news. Liberia was draw. I would take that. Okay, Goose, James, good day. Want to circle back to you?
That
Any?
real good news there.
Yes,
And,
it's been a
and
long time.
it's been a very long time. We stopped celebrating like that, most especially against a very tough country like South Africa, a footballing country like South Africa,
Absolutely.
a country that hosted World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
A
at least,
country that seemingly have all of the equipments,
yeah, that has everything.
everything they need, to be a winner. And then
Yeah,
here we are. It's like,
the
David and
country
Goliath
has
story. It's like
everything.
David and Goliath story in a way.
And that was how the game was like, right? Because the first I
I didn't
watched the
watch
game.
it. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched the game. The first half was a mess, and I even got disappointed. But when the coach made several changes, bringing in Tonia, with Mohamed Sangari, who scored the equalizer, everything changed when those changes were made. And yes, I think Tuesday, right? On Tuesday we're playing there, right?
Yeah.
Again?
Yeah, I think the return leg in Monrovia should be on Tuesday. And even the South African journalists who were commentating the game got disappointed. They were like, this was a goalie opportunity. We had to put this game to bed. But nobody know what happened.
Nobody know what happened. We're a good team at
Yeah,
that moment.
they were disappointed. So the game is now,
Luck, maybe we want to say, but I think we're a good team. I know we're a good team.
yeah.
I wouldn't chalk it up to
So
luck.
President Weah also talked to his social media account to
Mm-hmm.
to congratulate the team, saying it is a very good beginning for the nation, for the boys, what they did. He congratulated them on his social media account right after the game when we drew the game after
Did
a
he tell us
successful
where he
meeting.
is?
Huh?
Did he say where he was?
No, I think I told you that he left for the UAE.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm looking for him. That's why.
Yeah, I said, oh, why you don't? I said to you, put a real.
Anyway, let's stick to the football story. We'll get to where the president is in a minute.
I'm looking for him.
Now, my president, I can't look for him.
How you be a burger if you looking for the president when the president is in America with you?
Oh, you are in America here with us?
Oh, yeah. And you can come right here. You tell us come in America, but you can tell us we are in America. All
Yeah,
right.
I didn't know. Oh, I saw pictures. I didn't see my usual pictures that I usually see. Like him playing with a dog. He's showing us his trophies. Him being at the UN. I didn't see all of those play by play. I only saw one picture. That the picture where he was at the CIA center. And they only put one announcement on the website. Glasgow are not showing up pictures as usual. Did you see anything from Glasgow? Am I wrong?
Yeah, I saw pictures from Carrasco.
What kind of picture you saw? Maybe I didn't see. I missed it. What picture you saw, James?
He had meeting. He had meeting with some Liberians, and I saw those pictures.
Oh, okay. I missed that. Thanks for correcting me. I didn't see them. I'll go. Let me check Glasgow's site and see. But anyway, we're talking about football. Let's go to the football.
All right. So the president congratulated the team and said that is a very good beginning for us as a nation, and also motivated them to continue. But we hope he will pick a phone to call them as well, not just a mere Facebook post. This some institutions are now celebrating this as a two-way celebration, two-way celebrations after a successful meeting, what they describe as a successful meeting in the United States of America. Huh?
Do not go there. What do we mean that? I want to get details. You just teasing.
I said what they describe as.
Did it tell us the details of the success? Because you're making me excited here.
You talking to me?
Yes, I am speaking to you. We're going to talk about successful. What are the details? I'm excited. I want to hear more about the success stories.
We all know the protocol when the president returns to the country. there's going to be this church service, or the government is going to update us. So we don't have to. We don't have to jump the gun.
Okay, I'll patiently wait. I'm very patient. Okay, after you not ruin my day, small man. After you not tell me good news about the Lone Star, then you come and tell me you gotta wait again. Okay, I'll wait.
Yeah. So what Seditions described as a successful meeting, just collaborated with our game today, and they are like going wild all on social media everywhere. So again, another one that I got, according to another source that is traveling with the president, the president is doing everything he can to return to the country very soon. According to my source,
In the back, yeah.
I see you. I see.
Yeah, bring Leo in because Leo is always on time. I appreciate that. Thank you. You see, Leo?
Come on, good day, can't wait. I see me.
I see that man. Yeah, so according to my source that is traveling with the president, he's not happy with the way the voter registration is going on. So I'm told he had a conversation with some of the guys who are on the ground, those who he levied charge, but he's doing everything possible to cut his trip short to return in order to, as a leader, to ask those who are in charge to at least improve a little bit. But my source told me that he's not happy the way it is going on. Liberians are spending more time and lesser people are getting registered instead of majority. So his administration is doing everything possible to make more Liberians, if not, or at least the majority of them, to exercise their right in the upcoming October 10 elections. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, James. I was just looking for. Do you have that picture where you said you saw the president engaging with Liberians that you can put in the chat room so we can share?
I did not say the president. I said Kalasco.
That's what I'm saying. If you have the picture, please share in the
It
chat.
was Kalasco who was meeting with people, not the president.
The president, he said like Kalasco.
Not the president.
I missed it. I wanted the Liberian people to see, that the president was meeting with people.
I said Kalasco.
Oh no, man! I ain't talking about that other one that he important, but I
put that on the president. He said the president special.
Yeah, man. And now I got excited. I went on the Kalasco page looking, so we can share the good news with them. But then
it was Kalasco.
But well, I can understand how the people then say the president not happy. Look, when president's not happy that things not going well, we don't even need to hear it. When they hear heads can start rolling. When you hear they say president's vest because something not going, I got friends, how like when the president or the university or teaching here, they say the president is angry because
my best hair can ruin my house.
Exactly.
That he already started talking to those who are in charge.
Yeah.
According to my source.
Thank you. Good day. Thank you very much. You heard the trendy issues in the country. Thank you, Yegazi. Yegazi is telling us that the biometric process is not going as expected. It pains me a little bit to talk about it, but we'll be going into details about the biometric process. And so I'm going to just take some time now to welcome, Leo and I are going to welcome our viewers and our listeners. No matter where you are, we want to welcome you to Spoon Talk, your premier talk show, your number one actually talk show. I'm glad to be a part of it at this time in Liberia. So we want to just welcome a few. Leo, I'm going to do about 5 names, and then I'll let you do the other 5. I'm not going any particular order. I'm just looking and welcoming people. So please don't, accuse me of anything here. So Nancy Bala is on the show. Nancy, welcome. Mavena Eltier is on the show as well. She's viewing. Call Gloria Foka Moba is here. Call is always here. Rebecca Kate Tyre. I'm just so happy to be calling all women's name. It just brings me joy that women are watching and participating. Armand Jennison is here. Elusha Dennis is here from Kansas City. Sadia William is also here. I look another woman's name. Boris Kamara is here. J. Alex Robinson is here. Becca Ramsey is here. Vera S.W. Wallace is also here. Valentine Precious. Hi, Valentine. How are you? It's good to see that you're here. I'm going to turn it over to Leo now. Leo's going to welcome some of you. And then we're going to go into discussing some of the present issues in the country as we await our guest, Victoria Kwekwe, to come on the show. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. We got George Berrien is watching with us. We have Pauline B. Dahlia is watching with us as well. Ernest Johnson is watching from Lanham, USA. Tipos P.K. Dempster is also watching with us. Vagabine Manju Toure is following from the Keystone State of Pennsylvania. Philip Bala is watching with us. Princess Coleman is watching from Liberia. Clarence Buibo is watching from Camplin, Nimba County. E. Darlington Riley is also watching from Iowa. We got Opata Gadier is watching us. Isaac Zickman Jones is watching with us here. Sekbe Giseklon Otelo Wisi is watching with us all the way from Manitoba, Canada there. We have Glee Wilson is watching with us. Mamadi V. Dawon, Yatta Burnett, Philip Freeman, Baker Rance is watching with us. Sampi Pro is watching with us all the way from Toronto, Canada. Janka Moluba is watching with us here. Zwole Wesley, Rice Doyen, Kianta Wea, and Kwewa Dukle is watching with us from London, Ontario as well.
Great. I would like to welcome all of you again. This is your station, Liberia Station. If you have any thoughts, anything that is related to the betterment of our country, you want to come on Spoon to share, or if there's anything that you hear us say and you want to add your voice to it, Spoon is your radio station. We welcome you to come. We're open to the government officials coming. We're open to civic servant officials coming, the civil organizations leaders coming in. We're open to political parties coming in. We're looking to just regular leader of the marketing association, women, men, pimpin, boys, keke, drivers coming in. So we're open to a whole host of people because it is Liberia's radio station. So we're going to start and have our opening comments as the rest of our panelists roll in today. And as we wait for our guests to come in, I already sent her the link. She'll be coming in from her home, and as opposed to going into the radio station. I'm going to start with you. What's on your mind, or is there anything you'd like to say today, Leo? And then we're going to go to James, and then I'll have something to say as well.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Richardson. What's on my mind? There are quite a few things on my mind. Lone Star is on my mind. Congratulations to the boys who've worked really hard. In my opinion, is really heartbreaking whenever I see Lone Star play. And I see Liberians put a lot of expectation on the senior national team. How can we have a budget for our sports teams of $300,000 a year, and we are expecting that it's supposed to go to South Africa and beat the Bafana of South Africa? Like how can we have no preparation, no resources for the team, and people don't want to have the hard conversation? They play people supposed to be getting vests that in the country, and with the post also allocate the money. Nobody will get vests with a goalkeeper because the goalkeeper wears sweater and long sleeve shirt. They get vests with a team because the team not up playing South Africa or not beating South Africa. Look, this stuff, they're not voodoo. There is no shortcut to success. We need to see a sustained investment over a long period of time to raise the next crop of Liberian players or to support the ones who are already out there. Kudos to all of the players who put in the sacrifices. Kudos to the new coach as well, Coach Keita. Congratulations to him that in spite of everything, they are managing to still give us some pride. I was so happy today when Lone Star equalized, and I'm one person who said they will break our heart again because the boys are trying, but without the support, I can tell you, Dr. Richardson, that eventually they will be knocked off. For example, we needed a win in South Africa. We didn't get a win, we got a draw. South Africa is coming back to Liberia. What preparations going in place? If we're in these tournaments 3 years ago, we should have been preparing for now. So for me, I say congratulations to the boys, congratulations to the new coach, but unfortunately, it still doesn't cut it for me. Liberian people, direct your anger where it's supposed to be now on Lone Star team, yeah? When we'll get a preparation on Lone Star thing, then that would be great. The next thing that's on my mind is really the state of affairs in Liberia. the things that we've normalized to the point where everybody tell you the country is bad. But then when you bring about suggestions that should make the country better, people say, oh, and then America, yeah, then Canada, yeah, they play the Liberia. Oh, the boy, and I know about Liberia. You can tell they may not understand Liberian politics. What they're trying to tell you, they may not understand Liberian corrupt politics. You can be celebrating the bad thing, then in the same breath saying the country needs system, the country needs new things, the country needs to be, we need Syria people to come lead the country. Then when Syria people try to say something, they say, oh, that one to save it last. That one, the Liberia. Look at the thing we can say. Politics, that interest. Where did that definition come from, that politics, that interest? No, someone who went to school were told politics is about governance. Huh? It's not about interest. Politics is about good governance. It's about systems. It's about processes. It's about those things. It's not about your corrupt, because when you say that interest, or one of my interests who can steal, then politics are about my interest who can steal. So we need to move from that place. The people who want to participate in politics, they need to be showing us how they are good governance. And the big mouth Benin in Liberia, the people who memorize and got BB degrees. Everybody can only do something in Liberia when they're in office. Dr. Francine, if you know how to plant garden, you ain't gonna be president of Liberia for to make the agriculture sector better. When going a buyer, that your late gardener will see to be like, wow, Dr. Francine is really good at gardening. But all the people that may passing around with degree, by the time you ask them, they want to run for office. What have you done? They say, because I'm the president here, or I'm the minister here, or I'm the senator here. The thing what you can do, why you're not minister or senator or president, don't lie to, or you're not capable of doing it. How can you go to school, you say you get degree in mechanics, right? You teaching at university, or then something happened to my late Toyota, you don't even know where they can open a car who from. But you telling me, say, you are a mechanic, all the big economists, our people there. By the time they come to Liberia, I don't know, they can get door or something can happen. So this time, my people, the people who say they're educated, in parallel, they get something, they say, if black people able to know that guy, because he cool tall. What that means, that your color throwing here, what they can see before they call cool on your phone. And you don't throw the color, and you get, they say, wow, there will go on the man fan. But yeah, you throw the color, just fall down. You can't even hold it good, the thing slipping from your hand. Who can go call cool to your fan? So you're sure what you're not do before we get our country to you.
Yep. You know, Leo, before I move on to Good Day, there's something on your resume where they have the education portion and they got experience. When we look at resume to hire people, so a lot of times, you know, everybody focus on these big degrees, as you said. It's not having a degree, but what have you done with the degree, and have you been able to demonstrate ways that your degree have worked for you, or you have, you know, utilized your knowledge in a practical sense, in a way where, you know, you have used critical thinking. So that's something that I think Liberians can chew on and hopefully have learned from what you just said. Take what, you know, they want to take away from you as well. Good Day, your thoughts, your 2 minutes before I chime in.
Yeah, basically what I want to talk about is the electoral violence that is roaming in district number 10. And the country or the security sector is not taking precaution now until when it is terrible tomorrow, then they will start to rush in with their quick to face solution.
James, I'm not interrupting you. Do you have that any video from that, the violence that happened in district?
Yeah,
we'll talk about it, but I think it would be a good thing as you speak.
Yeah, okay, I have some here. I uploaded it before.
Sure.
Yeah, I have one here. 2 days ago, Representative Yeke Kolubah was attacked on camera, and we saw people burning tires in the street. People believed to be supporters of the government or the government back candidate in district number 10. That is Josephine Davis. People believed to be her supporters, right? They attacked Yeke 2 days 2 days ago, including yesterday. And yesterday was terrible. We saw people burning tires in the streets.
Wow.
The police came in. Yeke complained to the police on several occasions that You guys need to stop these people who are attacking me. If they come and attack me and you are here, you don't stop them, I will attack them. And when you try to stop me, we will attack you as well. I'm calling on you to stop these people from attacking me. I'm a lawmaker and a former police officer. I need to be protected by you. Again, the police left. Yesterday, the same attack took place when Yeke was not at home. His home again was attacked and they burnt tires in the street. The police came again. Yeke came, the same complaint. He called the head of the police unit that was there to tell them what was going on, that you guys need to stop. Election has not started. This is just registration, and this is happening. If they continue with this, we try to retaliate, it will be terrible. Nothing happened. Again today, Josephine David is complaining. I just read on her social media account that people believed to be Yeke Kolubah supporters attacked her along with her team at the store when she went to buy materials. She and her team got attacked there by people believed to be Yeke Kolubah supporters. So the two candidates now, one got attacked two consecutive times, and the other one, who is the CDC back candidate, is complaining today that she got attacked by supporters of the men who got attacked two consecutive times. And the national security or the joint security is not doing anything about this. We are sitting looking at them saying, oh, that CDC, that Yeke Kolubah business, I want to do their own thing. When it gets worse, God forbid somebody pass out there or whatever, that's the time the nation is going to be running helter-skelter. The church leaders will be running here and there, calling everybody for advice. And I think this is the time they need to call the both candidates. Since those supporters who are carrying on the attack, people are identifying them to be Yeke supporter and Josephine supporter, I think this is the time that the nation needs to stand up. District number 10 and number 9, if we are not careful, bad news will come from those two districts during this time. And district number 10 is now showing it. We saw attacks where people were stoning, burning tires all in the streets. So I feel we need to keep talking about this, and the religious leaders too will have to step in to stop this at this stage before it gets worse. Because what Josephine is reporting that she got attacked at a store, it's possible that she will get attacked at her home, or when her rally is going on, people will also attack her, and they will attack Yeke as well. So let these two people, or let their supporters, stop attacking the other camps. Let them stop attacking each other camps if these people are confirmed to be from their camps. I think this is something that Liberia needs to look at thoroughly before it gets worse.
So thank you, James, for calling on our government, the security sector, to get involved. It is a very serious thing. I did see different videos of, Yeke's territory getting attacked. Unfortunately, I didn't see Josephine's.
Yeah, she just put that
however, I do believe that there was some tension. Something happened. It's just that I'm not disagreeing or saying that she didn't get attacked. I'm just saying I didn't get an opportunity to see her video. But I think your call to the security sector of our country and the government is in place. I just think that there should be objective investigation going on. This is where our security apparatus have to come in. They have to use all of their tools, their knowledge to understand what is going on in the district. Call, like you said, the two candidates to ask the people to stand down. That should be a call in the interest of peace and in the interest of our country, to have both parties call their supporters to stand down. And I also think that this is the time where we should put our police in location, different hot zones, different areas where people are likely to, get, destructive. So this is kind of should be like something that should happen right now, because it is very, very dangerous for our democracy. We're talking about elections now, where people are expected to make choices and they need to feel free. They don't need to feel like threatened to go there. So thank you for your call. Hopefully someone will be paying attention as the watch the show. I apologize. I actually hope if Yeke is listening, maybe we can have him come and explain his experience. If Josephine Davis herself is listening and she wants to come here and talk about her ordeal, she is welcome to come here as well. My thoughts is about the biometric process in Liberia.
Before you go to courageous thing, I just wanted to say, respond to the Yake and Josephine Davis situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as many of you know, the first thing I will say, I will plead with Yake and Josephine Davis to show some leadership as well, for both of them to try and just ask their supporters, to please back down while they navigate with the security forces how to resolve this. But to a large extent, I'm very afraid, Dr. Francine, and we are watching this before our own eyes. Thank you for sharing the post from Josephine Davis, James.
Thank you.
We're watching this with our own eyes.
Ready when you ready.
Okay.
And people are not afraid when you get in a country where nobody believes they should call the police or go to the courts anymore, where people think it's a waste of time. We are one step away from crisis across the country. We are looking at only one district, right? This is one district, and because it's in an urban area, so any small thing that happens, it gets very heated. But think about if this start happening in multiple places across the country. Let's be honest, the police does not have the ability to, and this is where my greatest fear comes in. If the government cannot demonstrate that they will swiftly intervene and take some real action against perpetrators of violence, use them as examples, so people can actually see that if you dare try, the consequences are too severe. Don't try it, including politicians, including candidates. Or else, if we get to a place where everybody feel that don't waste your time to call the police, don't waste your time to go to the court, we will get to jungle justice, mob violence, and then we are in a whole different territory by the time we get over there before you talk about having elections. So I would really beg on the actors in government, especially in the security sector. These things have to be dealt with very swiftly and decisively so people can see if you dare try it, the consequences are really grave. So you will be deterred of doing it. That's what I'll say.
Yes, thank you very much for adding that. Again, my concern is the biometric, the voting registration process. The voting registration process. I'm very concerned about what I heard Yakesi say. It's going very slow. They are also realizing that some of the equipments are not working. They're working, but they're not efficient in how they're working in terms of some of the equipment need to be charged. And because of that, people are waiting much longer. It's troubling because even in a developed country, when people have to wait in line to vote for a long time, they get tired. It causes a person to leave the line, and they lose the opportunity to be able to register to vote, because if you don't register, you can't vote. And to me, in the long run, that is very destructive to our democracy, to our fragile democracy. We need all the systems working. But I can tell you that we were leading up to this. We could have predicted this on this show. We started off talking about how there was the money was insufficient. In fact, we started out telling you that the NEC boss said she didn't even get the money that she needed to carry out an effective registration process.
And as I'm coming 1 minute. As we are speaking, I just called Representative Kolubah again. He said there's an attack at his home. I think I'm sending him the link to come on.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, wow. As we're speaking, he said they just attacked his home again.
Wow. Well, we'll wait for Representative Yeke to come in so he can tell us the experience and what's going on. But again, I was speaking about the registration process, because I don't know if I can even call this a biometric process, because we were told that we're not using the biometric process. We're using the old method, which is just the paper and pen method. And maybe that's what we should have stuck to, because that's what we seem to know, and we practice that. We're told that the biometric process only had to do it for your phone, and also giving you a QR code but they were not using it for elections, I believe, if I'm correct about that. But so to me, this is again one way of demeaning our democratic process. We had the census issue. Now we have the biometric issue. So all of us can explain this whole deal to incompetency, things that should be tested out, things that we knew long ago that were supposed to happen, and then they're happening now, and everybody's acting like they're confused or they don't know what to do. So I hope that somebody will make a decision soon to support having a speedy and effective elections, having a process where people can register free and fairly without waiting in line, in a way that will prevent them from registering, because everywhere you go you're waiting in line a little bit. That's acceptable, but in a matter that where you have to leave and stuff like that, and the machines are not working, it's just unacceptable. So having said that, when Rieke comes in, please let us know. We're also expecting Miss Victoria to come in as well. Victoria Kwekwe to come in. She got the link already. She'll be coming in from her home, and then if Rieke can come in, that'll be helpful. So Leo, did you have anything else to add before we go to our topic of the day that I have here? We're going to start with the issue of corruption, which kind of relates to incompetency, knowingly or unknowingly. And then as we wait for Miss Victoria to come in. Go ahead, Leo.
Yes, no, absolutely. And there are a few things, Dr. Francine, as you talk about the whole biometric situation and the emerging challenges that we're seeing. I mean, which was, I would say, anticipated by a lot of people who raise concerns. I think the problem in Liberia is that whenever people raise concerns, people misunderstand it for being you against the government or you against something, so they don't even listen. You lose them right away. Because by the time you say something, and maybe it's not in favor of the government, it's not praising the government, they go right into this space of, oh, you're not let us see good happening for your country. Like, that's not the point. In fact, whenever something new is brought, we should encourage critical voices to raise all the potential questions that can be raised so that the people who are implementing it can start to answer those questions for themselves. So I'll give you a few things. I've been digging a little deeper into this and talking to some experts on this whole biometric situation to just learn a little bit more as to what are some of the issues we may have. And this idea where we are sitting in place where anything somebody say, let me hear, if it's not in favor of my own person, then I attack them. Doesn't matter what they're saying, if it makes sense or if it's true, I don't care. So long against my person, I will attack them. Or if I for the government, as long as against the government, I got my party mandate to just attack. So what you're doing, you're not even listening to people who might be giving you good advice. One challenge with the biometric is that it's expensive, Dr. Richardson. And the person I talked to today told me, he said, two things. People would take shortcuts because they can fully afford all of the things they're supposed to deploy within a biometric system, which I believe is happening in Liberia. We're taking shortcuts. We have no data system already in place, nothing at the camp. We expect the biometric to survive by itself. It's supposed to just come, and NEC is supposed to be running its own data information management biometric system, removed from all of the other processes, removed from the National ID Registry, removed. So it's a standalone data process. So what happens the day NEC data center crashes? What happens the day somebody hack into NEC data center, the main center itself, and compromise the data? What do you do if it is a standalone system? So the guy told me, he said it's expensive, and the expense is not the upfront where you go do the registration. The managing of those data or making sure they are, as the integrity of it is respected, is a very expensive process. The next thing he said to me, it requires training and sufficient time to implement. He was telling me on average, the deployment of any biometric system, you need at least 3 years process of deploying, implementing, because even the training processes, when you're done, you got to run multiple testing. Is that you have to intentionally crash the system and see what happens. Because in real time, if it crashes, you would have already known what could happen when the system crashes, and you know what type of interventions to do to bring it up. Yeah, he also said to me, and it necessitates that all the citizens at some point will have to re-register. So basically, there should have been almost 2 registration processes before election. You should have ran your first registration throughout the country, get all that preliminary data in, and then in another year, require everybody to re-register who have already registered, because this is where you start to develop the data integrity. Because that's when you start to see if Dr. Francine said her name or, Francine F. Richardson, she came back to re-register, but you say her name Francine Richardson. That's where you start to catch the inconsistencies. To make sure that you talk to one person at least 2 times, twice, to verify what is their proper nomenclature and to verify that you capture the name properly. If Dr. Francine Kian was spelling her name, we made a mistake and did not put the FR. We just put FAN and spell it that way. And then she came back, she said, I registered, we run her name. It can't show up in the system, but she insists she registered, she has a card. That's when you take and start to trace now that Dr. Francine's name was entered with mistake. The arrow was not included. You correct that. All of this is not in place. So I don't know how we're going to actually do this. Good luck to the guys that are responsible to do it, but this is voodoo. That's all I can say.
And yeah, you make Sarah great points, that are convincing. And, for anyone to know that this system is not working, and we are saying that people are discussing how slow the process is. And I think also yesterday, one of our reporters even said that one of the registration center was closed because they said they didn't get their money wherever the money was supposed to come from. So all of these different, innuendos that contributes to a problem or many problems, we could have predicted this. We predicted this. And you're right. When you talk about it, people say you're against the goal. No, we want a better country. We want a country that can do a task well. And as we're seeing, we expect usual problems. No elections tend to run well, even in a great United States. But I mean, to have these problems that are so easy to solve is concerning. It's very, very concerning. James, I also sent you a text, so please let Josephine Davis know.
Yes,
to the show as well. We did see her post that she said talks went to attack her. This show is open for her as well as Yeke, because I saw people already saying, even though I did say it early on, but people are like, well, I only asked for Yeke and instead of Josephine Davis.
Yeah, I'm calling it both parties.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And as we saw, Yeke did respond, but it sounds like he's getting his security situation under control, and he might not be able to join us, but whenever he can, he will. Ms. Davis is also welcome to come. I want to move on to having a conversation. I'm sure we're going to be interrupted by our guests, which is okay, but and also we're waiting for our other panelists to roll in as well. I actually saw an article on Front Page Africa. I believe it was in Front Page Africa, and it talked about corruption perception survey report. I don't know if you saw that, Leo. And so there are a group of people in Liberia who are responsible for understanding accountability. They want to hold our government accountable in Liberia. So they did a little brief survey. I believe their survey consisted of 123 persons, and they went around asking people about, what sectors of the country are corrupt, and also what do they think, what counties do they think are fighting corruption. And so one of the top 3 corrupt sectors, according to these participants, now, let me just say, for someone who tend to play with surveys a lot, because I chair dissertations, that's the only reason. 103 persons in the country is randomized. So that was the sample size. They said that the education sector was rated as the most corrupt. And then, of course, with 74%, followed by the health sector with 73%, and the justice system with 72%. So there were 3 areas that they thought were the most corrupt sectors, okay, in Liberia: the education system, the health system and the justice system. So, Leo, I wanted us to have a discussion. Why do you think that people in Liberia feel like the education system, the health system, and the justice system are corrupt? What are some of the things people are experiencing for them to draw this conclusion that these systems in our country are corrupt?
Yeah, and this is disturbing because if education is number one, then where are we headed? Because if anything, this is where everybody is supposed to learn how to do, what to do, where to go, where to take the country. And I would say this, it's almost borderline fraud that we are committing against the children of Liberia and against the young people of Liberia. I said this before. It's criminal for the University of Liberia and universities to still be operating the way they are. It's actually criminal. How can you run a university that has no capacity to deliver what the young people of Liberia deserve? I give students in Liberia so much credit for the sacrifices that they go through in spite of it all and try to make something of it, Dr. Richardson. I really do. And this is fraudulent. And this is why I get so baffled when I don't see the anger. How do you expect students to go to class and sit in mold classrooms that are smelling with mold everywhere? How do you expect students to go into you know that in Liberia, nowhere to find a textbook? I went to Tottenham High. I was just at Tottenham, the great Tottenham High, from the Minister of Finance. All of these people are from Tottenham High. Go to T High. In Dr. Richardson, this is in the urban area in Monrovia itself. And these guys were not ashamed to take President Weah to go visit Tottenham High and walking in molded classrooms and pin. You know what it means when they say the President of the Republic is coming to your school? So what we're doing in Liberia, we're teaching young children how to memorize. That's the reason why up to today's days, we still can make textbook available. The reason the trend saying a corrupt thing about it. Teacher then go put pamphlet together with disjointed grammar inside it. They can't sell it. The student must buy their particular pamphlet. The student buy the pamphlet. Teachers are drawing questions intentionally so plenty of people can fail. Because when plenty of people fail, they have to go bribe. Like, we can't do this. We cannot do this. Who's vetting all of these people? Our school system in Liberia, what is the criteria for delivering quality education? What is it? It is actually fraudulent. So I agree with the outcome that health is education is number one. And what that says, Dr. Francine, is that it's gotten to the point that we are intentionally miseducating our population because that's the only way incompetent people can continue to thrive. Our leadership at the top in all sectors have become so incompetent that there's a fear that if you dare try to do any proper education for anybody, there will be riots on the streets of Monrovia. If you dare try to open the eyes of students to see what they are going through at LU and start to contextualize it, they will shut down the country because that's the greatest injustice you can do to any nation. Look, the education sector, Dr. Richardson, should be connected to the economic productivity of the country. So anytime LU and the university is putting us students, we're supposed to feel an immediate infusion of productivity into the country's economy. But no, what are we doing? Every time the university graduates more people, the economy is about to drag itself into the drain because most of them will end up selling in boots, in shops, and in real market. Here's what we're doing now to of them that worries me. All these countries, China, America, are giving scholarships. Dr. Richardson, who in their best mind has LU in the state that it is? These countries come and say, I'll give you scholarship to send your people to America. I'll give you 200 scholarships. You send them there, they come here and learn some of the best systems and, best technology. They go back to Liberia, they are looking like zombies because people still drawing the graph with pencil yet. And you just came from learning sophisticated technology. The computer you need to even make some of those programs run does not exist in the whole Republic of Liberia. So our people coming from Harvard, coming from Oxford, from Cornell, when they get to Liberia, you look like a complete zombie. Why can we not tell these countries, China, you won't get 200 scholarship, America, you won't get 200? No, we want you to build a state-of-the-art college right here, give us faculty for 5 years. Let's develop it so that we can educate our children. So I would stick on health, on education, but close to all of the other sectors. And we are doomed. If education is number one, then we are doomed because we are miseducating everybody.
So, I was actually distracted by listening to you a little bit because I was looking at the money in the budget that is allotted for education. And I just want the draft budget, by the way, because I think only the House of Representatives passed it, or I don't think if the Senate, did the Senate pass it yet? Do we know? Did it all pass?
The budget got passed about a week ago.
Okay, great. So I see that this budget then is for education. I think, hold on, I just passed my thing. I was just, it is less than what we allow to other sectors. I think it's $87.9 million, representing 11.2% of our expenditures. So that is how much we are allowing to educate our education sector compared to other areas. Education and agriculture tend to not get a lot of money at all. So let me just throw this out here to you, Leo, and also James. James, did you have anything you want to add to this conversation about the education sector? You are
a person who join you very soon. I'm still trying to.
Okay, so there's this argument. This is how we met the system. You know, the system has been like this all along. So why are we talking about it now? You are against the government. You are against this government because you are providing suggestions for change. So what's your answer to that, Leo?
The first thing I would say is either the generation or the people who were entrusted with Liberia after the war are the greatest fraudsters on planet Earth, or they are just diabolically wicked. Dr. Richardson, people like to go back to before the war, what LU used to be like, right? Great. In fact, University of Liberia, if not the best, was one of the best anywhere, not just on the African continent, but could compete with universities across the world. The war came, Dr. Francine, we burned it down, we destroyed it, we broke everything down in the country. The people came back to us and said, you're trying to reconstruct your country. We went and take whitewash and pin a building to LU and pretended like we can continue from where we actually stopped. Did that, for a long time, the Ministry of Education was UNICEF. We literally came back, pretended like the war didn't change anything. We could just continue going instead of sitting down with the resources that was pouring into the country and the conversations we're having to say, we need to build from the foundation up. No. So what they did, they came back, lied to us, clean the green water that has set in all the classroom, paint they were whitewash, not even proper paint, even in the school systems. Nothing was changed. Dr. Francine, when rocket fall down on your house and only the foundation left, you come and say, you know what, I will just pour tarpaulin and pretend that the hole I was there for, that the same house that is there. You are absolutely, you have to be crazy to actually do that. And that's where our problem is coming from. We destroyed everything we had. No way to pretend. I've made an argument, Dr. Richardson, that even UL should be transformed into a technical university. Because people people forget, after World War II, when Germany was worse than Liberia, where Germany was, you think Liberia is bad? Germany was worse. Germany came back and said, we need to build an education system that will respond to our needs now. We can be building an education system that when you graduate from the education system in Liberia, you come in America, you can do well. But when you live in Liberia, you suffer. If you're good at mathematics in Liberia, poverty is your portion. You will become math teacher to one of the behind the house schools. There's nothing much you can do with math in Liberia or the sciences. So what Germany did, Germany introduced a technical college or technical university system because what they needed were plumbers, were carpenters, were engineers, were nurses. So that's what their economy needed at the time. So because of that, today, Germany has the lowest youth unemployment rate in the world. 52% of young people leaving high school in Germany don't go to universities. They go to technical colleges and technical universities. Today, Germany is one of the strongest economy. We in Liberia, the war ended, we all came back, we said, no, let's develop more philosophers. Let's develop more business managers. But we even get professors who are qualified to teach, and the ones that are qualified have zero tools to even teach. That is craziness, and that is the crux of the problem. It's not because one person came and made it there. Everybody been lying to us that with a $500 million budget, they can keep patching the education system, pretending like we did not destroy it before the war. And the type of education system we had before the war, Dr. Richardson, that's not what we need now. Liberia's productivity was at a different place. You destroyed 2 generations that did not finish high school. How can you come back and pretend like you can just continue from where you stopped? That's what I'm saying. The fraudulent attitude must stop. We need to assess our country and build anew. We don't need to rebuild, because what was there was corrupt as well. We need to build something different that is responsive to our needs where we are.
So, but go ahead. Good day. Any thoughts?
Yes, I reached out to the both parties, and I hope they will respond. If not, that is it. And to the topic, right? Specifically with the educational sector. To me, if you do a review of the entire system, it even got damaged before the Civil War, or those who started the entire foundation, they were not interested in technical universities or colleges, in building professionals who will not just talk about going in the banking sector, who will not just pay attention to politics. They were not interested in that. If you look at the foundation of Liberia, almost all those who came, their interest was politics. They were interested in public speaking. So our educational sector was just built around that. If you look at the likes of Barcos Matthews, Tipote, Dara Tipote, those were people at the time yesterday, they saw them as the most educated people. And their education was not in the technical field. Their education was in the political field, right, where they would come out and talk. So more young people who came after them, who grew up looking at them, they saw them as inspiration to that type of education, to that type of learning, that yes, I want to be the next Dr. Tipote, I want to be the next Backup Matthew. So we grew up looking at HB. We saw these people. So the system was built when the free slaves came. Those who established universities or colleges in Liberia, they built a system on talking. The educational system was built on talking, not like Ghana, where you have people going into computer, into building and other things, productivity. We built our system on talking. So our generation and even those who coming after us may likely continue on that path. So I think we just need a reset, like Leo said, right? We just need to press that reset button and get rid of everything and rebuild. And how can we rebuild again? We cannot rebuild ourselves because we are not sophisticated to rebuild the system the way we want it to be, because we were built the way we saw it. And we cannot take that knowledge we got on our own, except those who left the country, who started their entire education or educational system in different countries. I'm not talking about people like us who went to high school in Liberia, we graduated, God help us, we left. People who graduated a few days ago, they left. But people who were born out of Liberia, but they are Liberians, they went to school out and they learned from there. I think they are responsible to change the entire system, not like me. I will try my best.
So let me make a point that before the professor speaks, and this is her actual area of practice. So Dr. Richardson, in the West here, we got something called, I disagree with James. I think the people to revolutionize our education system are right in Liberia. Let me tell you why I say so. Dr. Richardson will know what we call industry-based professors. Liberia does not have the number of PhDs nor the quality of research to start focusing on hiring PhD professors. Number two, we can't even afford them to begin with, even if we wanted to. What we have in Liberia, and in the West, they also do it. People who have excelled in a certain industry, like have done exploits, the university will actually hire them as professors. But because they are not PhDs, they will call them industry-based professors, which means what they've achieved in their field is almost equivalent to what studying a PhD would have been like. So they are rated differently than a PhD, actual PhD prof. But you know what they're saying? That the level of experience they have gathered, sometimes even a PhD may not have gathered that type of experience. A PhD may be educated. So in Liberia, when you bring in a technical university system, what happens? You have a lot of industry-based professors in Liberia. People who have worked from your BWI days or whatever, who got the knowledge. They may not have the PhDs, and they may not have had the opportunity to go to school. So what you start to do, you start to work with what you have already. as industry-based professors, then you start to see the gaps in what you need for research-based. So maybe you might need 3 or 4 research-based prof. But if most of the things you are doing are professional technical courses, then industry-based professors will thrive in that environment because they are more like hands-on experiential teaching, experiential learning. They are not research-intensive focus. They are more experiential teaching based.
Yeah, so I will continue, right? But Representative Yeke Kolubah is on the phone. He said there's no way for him to come on the video because of the situation on the VP room. Representative Yeke Kolubah, welcome. Representative Kolubah. Representative Kolubah. Yes, you are live. Go ahead. Hello. You need to change your location and then call me back. All right.
Yes, I'd like to welcome Honorable Fagon to the show. It's good to see your background looks different. A lot of people have been asking about you.
The people say Fagon or fire, so I know who fire Fagon.
So I'd like to just welcome you. We're basically into discussing the survey, the corruption perception survey that was reported. I believe I pulled it off front page Africa.
All right, Representative Kolubah, welcome. Bring us up to speed. What's happening in your district as we speak?
This evening, I was somewhere around the park hopping, and the motorcycle from the park hopping decided to escort me in my district, my supporters. So when I got in the district, went to my district office. While there, I got information that the police have brought seditions on the VP road to harass my citizen. No people were called by the police. The Diaspora police gave instruction to the police officer to bring people on the VP road in my seditions with collectors. They came in the district, brutalized people, they looked at people's things in the field of the police, and nothing was done.
Yeah, you can go ahead if you have questions.
Does anybody have a question for Honorable Kolubah? I'm just wondering, I hope that you were safe. That's one of my first questions to you. How safe are you? How are you feeling? Do you feel protected? I know this is kind of a dumb question because
Dr. Regency is asking if you feel safe or you feel protected to where you are.
If I feel what?
If you feel protected.
Look, I'm in the midst of my people on VP Road. I'm in the midst of my people on VP Road, and I feel very protected here in the midst of my people. I'm not going to leave from here as I go home to their own school, so I could be loud. But I can't leave my people in that kind of situation and leave. So I'm on the VP Road. The police, under the instruction of the president and the Diaspora police, brought seditions. They were protected by police officer, and they brutalized people, killed them, and took away their property.
and are they doing so because they support you? Representative Yeke, are they doing so because they support you?
Were they attacked because they support you?
Yeah, but the people know. The people know that. I mean, the district of my people. If I don't have the support of the people, I will not be on the GP road time that they will kind of him up and be the kind of crowd we got here. You understand? I think it's wrong. The police, the tendency should be protected by honor, not to bring seditions here in the face of the police. People are brutalized and things taken away out there in the face of the police. The police are standing and people use colors to brutalize the people.
Okay. Leo, do you have any questions for
Hold on, Representative Kolubah.
For Representative Yeke?
Yes, the only question I will ask Representative Kolubah is that.
Hold on 1 minute, please. Please hold on. Yeah,
what does he intend to do now that we're in the middle of the night and clearly he's not getting help from the police, in his own words? Like, what does he intend to do? What are people thinking about doing now, given the situation?
You got a question?
Yeah, what I've intended to do is tomorrow I'm going to call a meeting. The people will have to put themselves together to protect our community, because the police have become a policy police and the police have become a facilitator in this process. facilitating all the crime in the district. All the crime in the district are being facilitated by VMO, the chief of anti-robbery VMO. He's heading the team on the whole road.
Has he been able to speak to the police director as a lawmaker? Has he been able to place a call to Patrick Shudu or any of the authorities in the police to see if they have anything to say about the situation?
You got a question?
I called Patrick Shudu. What Patrick Shudu said to me was, the situation on the whole road, you can't handle it because it's above him. The situation on the whole road, you can't handle it because it's above him. So if you say you're above him, that means the chief executive, the one that gave the instruction. So they are carrying on the instruction.
Thank you.
Hold on, Representative Kolubah.
Honorable Fagon, do you have questions for the representative?
I'm on the phone you.
Okay, welcome, Colonel Remy Gray. Colonel Gray, do you have any questions? I know you're just getting in, trying to settle.
I need to drive home and get live on the show. I want to be
Yeah,
live on the show.
I think we should let him go. That's given the situation.
Yeah, we'll let him go, and then he will come back later. Okay, I want to welcome Colonel Remy Gray to the show. Also, as you see, we are joined by Colonel Gray and Mr. Fagon to the show. We're just having a discussion. First of all, I don't know if you want to say anything about what is happening in Liberia right now. Representative Yeke is discussing that he's been attacked. The police went to his district. The same, according to him, they are sort of arousing people to attack some of his supporters and brutalizing people in his district. So I don't know if you guys have any comments about that, because we were just interrupted with breaking news, which happens here at SPON. We're actually talking about the corruption perception survey that is actually on, that is in Front Page Africa. So did you guys have any thoughts about that before we move on? And I also see Miss Kokwea is joining us. She's our guest for today as well. But Ms. Kokwea, thank you to the show. We're in the middle of discussing a topic, so just give us a second and we'll be right back to you. Go ahead, anybody, starting with Leo and then Fagon and then Colonel Gray.
Yeah, I keep saying, for me personally, I'm scared, regardless of what the motivation is, regardless of who believes what or who's on what side. When you have the country sitting on edge the way it is, and when I mean sitting on edge, where almost everybody is saying, don't trust the police, don't go to the courts, deal with the situation in your own hands as it is. It scares me. And the reason it scares me is because people are going to start resorting to the type of things that we all are afraid of. But what it's also going to do is going to embolden criminals. It's going to embolden bad people who know that they can actually go ahead and do whatever they want and almost get away with it with impunity. In my opinion, what I'm hearing with someone like Representative Kolubah is right now, in my opinion, the police should be over there now, dispersing everybody to go make sure everybody is safe. Because the moment you start to get the crowd gathering and people are being incensed and getting upset and getting angry, sorry, you are about to head for disaster, because no matter what one crowd does, the other crowd will retaliate. And once the other crowd retaliates, at that point, nobody cares about whether there's law or there's no law. And at that point, the perpetrators or the actors or those involved in violence are so many that you've lost complete control. And I don't believe the LMP has the manpower nor the capacity to deal with unspiraling violence. I don't believe so. So if they don't try to do something about it now, they're setting all of us up for some very dangerous situations down the road.
Thank you, Leo Johnson. Honorable Fagon, you heard Representative Yeke Kolubah say he called the police director, and the police director said it's above him. What do you make of that?
Well, first of all, let me extend my greetings to all of you, my fellow panelists, including the guest, Madam Victoria Tolo Kokwet. For now, it's Honorable Kolubah is claiming that that's the situation there. We cannot substantiate what he is saying. We cannot validate what he is saying. We have no independent confirmation of what he is saying. As you know, he said that it must have come from the president. Now, what I have seen on social media over the last couple of days from District 10 specifically has been very disturbing. And I think it's time for the authorities to get a hold of it, because this is not a clean by Yeke Kolubah. It's something I am seeing brewing. And I can tell you it's been on social media, so it's nothing that you can say you have not seen. It is starting now. If nothing is done to curb it, it's going to escalate and it's going to blow up in our faces. Having said that, I think there's lots of electoral irregularities and constitutional breaches here, breaches that needs to be addressed. And specifically to the Supreme Court, some of the cases before you that needs adjudication should be done, should be dealt with immediately. Because if you delay, there are more to come. And with the NEC, for example, we sat here, we're all administrators one way or the other. You cannot bring a document to me that have got holes in it without signatures and expect me to honor it. There's no way I can honor a document without signature. So since the CDC document got there, with a lot of signatures missing, key and important signatures, and what have you, they're still holding on to it.
Okay.
Knowing fully well they're supposed to throw it out.
Thank you.
So the sooner we get a hold on all these issues, I think the better it will be for the country. That's as much as I can say without validating what Mr. Kolubah told us tonight. I see it as a statement without confirmation, but by tomorrow end we'll know.
Yes. Thank you. Our guest is here with us. Miss Victoria Kwekwe is here. I'm going to just ask you to indulge me for a second to just ask your patient. I'm going to go to Remy Gray. Remy, could you just be quick to respond to what is happening in Yeke's district? And then we're going to go back to Miss Victoria Kwekwe, who's going to introduce herself to us. She's going to be speaking about the biometric process, her experience. As you probably know, she's running to be senator in Monrovia County. And she's going to talk to us as well about her experience as a woman in this political space. Remy Gray, please quickly tell us your thoughts, what you've been hearing about district. You muted, right? We can't hear you, Mr. Connor Gray.
I think the problem from his mark. You have to go out and come back.
He has this problem with his device at times that he doesn't get audio. So I don't know.
So
let me just. I just wanted to tip in. I call. How you call it? I called Josephine, and also I sent a text, no response, and I also tried calling the police spokesman to ask him about what Yeke reported, but up to now no response. So when I get a response, I will come back.
Thank you very much. Good day. Connor Gray, could you quickly join in? And then before we go to our guest, we don't want to keep her waiting too long.
All right. Good evening, fellow panelists, and thank you so much. What I'm seeing here is I've seen a claim or repeated claims by the administration that they are jealously manning the peace. What we have inside here is not a group of people who respect the peace, because they were not the custodian of the peace. They were not part. Most of the individuals who found themselves in authority today were in exile when Liberians were running helter-skelter in every direction. And those individuals have come in, don't even know how we got here in the first place. So as a result, they continue to defy and test the resolve of other Liberians who are not in their corner. If you look at them, typically whether somebody marshalling a group of thugs on university campus or people snatching people in the wee hours of the night and then putting an end to their lives and so on and so forth. These are all ways you test the resolve of a group of people who are war-wearied. Liberians have reached the tip of the iceberg where they feel that they cannot see themselves leaving their country anymore to go seek sanctuary elsewhere. So, but this group of folks will continue to push people to the limit where people will you know, they will hit the wall and will have to fight back like a cat. 9 lives, and it will happen eventually, because they have to taste what others tasted that brought about this peace. They have to taste it
Okay,
until
30
then they're
seconds,
not going to
right?
stop. Until then they're not going to stop it. They will
Thank you.
continue to go after people.
Thank you. Viewers, listeners, I'd like to welcome Ms. Victoria Kwakwe to this Spoon Talk. She's going to introduce herself. She's going to be here telling us about her experience with the biometric registration process in Liberia and share some light on what it's like to be a woman in this political space at this time in Liberia. Ms. Kwakwe, could you please tell us about who you are again? You're not a stranger to Spoon. Thank you for coming. You look beautiful, by the way, and just as smart as I've heard you before. We can't hear you. Please unmute yourself.
Sorry, I have myself muted. So I want to say thank you for inviting me to the show today, and it's a pleasure being here again. Like you said, this is not my first time. I usually used to come on the show, but now the engagements are getting a little bit interesting. So we spend most of our time in the field, engaging the communities. And sometimes we come home, we're tired, and you just want to take your bath and go to bed. So yes, and Dr. Rachel said, I would take exception to you not pronouncing my name well. You should know how to pronounce my name by now. So it's Victoria Tolo Kokwe. Yeah. So and I want to say kudos to Eugene Fagon, especially pronouncing my middle name that I love so dearly. But he's my BIL anyway, so he's supposed to know how to pronounce that name.
So is your exception because I didn't add the Tolo? Is that the exception because I know I pronounce the Kwekwe very well?
So the Kwekwe, you said Tolo.
So no, it's that's also the exception. You prefer for me to include the full name, Victoria
yes,
Tolo.
I love the Tolo, not Tolo, Tolo.
Well, I'll take it. Thank you. Tolo.
Thank you. And yes, by the way of introduction, for those who may not be familiar with Victoria, I'm Victoria Tolo Kokwe. I'm the Deputy Vice Chair for Political and International Affairs at the ANC and a member of the National Advisory Council of the CPP. I am also the senatorial aspirant for CPP for Monrovia County. And we are going into this race to win the elections. Monrovia is a win for us, and we are doing all of the job. But let me come quickly, even though that question hasn't been asked me, but I listened to Yeke Kolubah. Today, I was on my usual tour, and I passed through the old road. I saw huge presence of the police. And my driver said, yes, last night when I eat here. So we left and went. Coming back with all my engagement, I just wanted to take my Edo soup. So I passed on the old road to the market. Yeke House is right in the market. And I went to the market. I started hearing it was around 5:30, and I started hearing the market women saying that if it were just our own will, they should have curfew on the old road here at Yeke's house. So I took interest. I asked them, why are they saying so? What happened? They started to explain to me that the people say they want Yeke head. If they don't get Yeke head, then they will not rest because Elole President we are. I'm quoting Elole President we are in want Yeke to be represented. And I don't care what they do, we elect Yeke, we'll vote for Yeke. So they will not waste their time. But the fact that they come here disturbing us in the market every day, we just running around. Every day they will come and attack this one man. So I sat down to listen to them. I sat down because I wanted to understand whether this problem is coming from Yeke. And every one of them that talked to me was like, they are coming to attack us. The CDC always they're coming to attack us. And we know that this has not been the first time attacking Yeke, especially as a woman and as a mother, especially seeing Yeke's 2 weeks twins. Passport were seized, and by that time, Minister Fagon was the deputy minister by that time. So, and Yeke children, their food were seized, their passports were seized. That alone shows how Yeke feels sometimes. You know, sometimes I say Yeke is the best lawmaker. The only thing is the manner of approach he takes. And sometimes I try to think, because I come from the social work background before coming into politics. You want to understand, why is this man behaving like this? Because most of the time when you listen to his interviews, you listen to his press conferences, he will always mention his children, those 2 weeks, babies, that passports were seized, their food were seized, just because Yeke is speaking out for the people. That's something really terrible in our country. And to be very frank, I am scared. I am scared. I'm not saying I'm scared that we are not going into this way, but I'm scared for our country, because this is how the small things started and the Civil War broke up in our country. So we have to take note of this. I think President Weah needs to sometimes speak on these issues that are happening in the country. If he cannot speak on these issues, things will continue to be. And let me say, if you can say President Weah instructed the police director, but Yeke is speaking from the level, from the perspective of the manager of the country. When these things are happening, we are not hearing from it is not only about Yeke, it's also about security issues in our country. All of the things that are happening, you are not hearing the president speaking, and you are not saying what the police is doing. Today, the question you asking, what has the police done? I ask. Since this thing started, the police came. The people told me the police came. At one point, they left them vulnerable. Why the police left? Those are questions we should be asking. So I just wanted to throw that before we go into the interview. That was something I felt very bad today when I talked to those women while buying my edibles to come and make my edible soup.
Thank you, Miss Victoria Tolo Kokwe. I'm gonna go to Leo Johnson, and Leo, your first question do you have for Miss Victoria Tolo Kokwe?
Yeah, good to meet you. I'm Victoria Tolo Kokwe here. I know you're preparing for your campaign, and you've been reaching out. I've been watching some of your videos online as well as you continue to engage. A lot of people feel this is an uphill battle for you. And I'll be very personal here in my experience in Liberia. First and foremost, a lot of people have this very condescending attitude towards female aspirants in Liberia. In fact, it is believed that there are certain places where females are not supposed to step, or females not supposed to venture. Sometimes it's not expressed, but the attitude is already there. So as a woman, you're running against quite a number of things. You're running in a very, a very engaged part of the country. Everybody is involved in the politics of the day. The politics cannot escape you. And at the same time, you are representing a group of people who have been marginalized in our politics and our history for a very long time and continue to do so. Where do you find the motivation, the strength, and the ability to deal with the politics of the day, but also deal with the people who feel that someone like yourself should not even be there? Before you even start talking about promoting your candidacy, you're already dealing with all of the other issues. Where do you find the motivation to not pull away from that type of attitude?
Thank you. Great question. Miss Victoria?
Yes. Very good question. Look, I know all of these things. Like I said, I have a social working background. I have worked in a private sector, especially the NGO sector, working with international NGOs for more than 20 years, working in Guinea, working in Senegal, and then my own country, Liberia. So I understand all of these things. I understand what women go through. I understand what young people go through. I understand what people living with disability go through. And this is not, when I talk about young people, people living with disability, it includes men, it includes women, young people. So I have dealt with all of the kind of people. And this actually has motivated me to throw my weight in a race because of all the kind of people I have interacted with. So how can we find the solution to minimize the marginalization of certain group of people, especially the women? And I will tell you this little story. While on my engagement, I met somebody living with disability in District 4. He's running. He told me he's running. He said, Ma, Victoria, I want to help you with your campaign, but you have to help me too. We had a chat. I told him, I said, look, CPP will have a candidate in this district. How do we work? He said, okay, if you will have a candidate, then I want to help you. He's somebody living with disability, and he's pushing. He has a very, very good strategy. When you sit and listen to him, you feel that if he just has a little push, he will win the elections, because the way he put down, he laid down his strategy. When you see him, you won't even believe. Sometimes people see him, they're overlooking, and I keep saying, this guy is doing the groundwork, that people should be careful with him, because if he just get a little push, somebody get his finances, he get a little push, he could win the elections with that strategy. I would not want to explain the strategy because myself using his strategy. So I want to say that this has motivated me, and we are working with all of the sectors that are marginalized, because even the men in some cases are marginalized. We are also working with people who are not marginalized to tell them why we want to represent the people. And our message is good. We believe that's the right message in a democratic, environment. The message is good. I think the only challenge we have is money, finance. We know that our main rival, because I know only one person that I am going against, that is the main rival, the sitting senator. He has the money. That is only our challenge, but the message is there, because our problem here is, what has this lawmaker done? Because people want to say you are fighting a battle, you are going against a hero. And sometimes I say, no, this is you should not say he is a hero. You can only be a hero where you have stable country, especially in this Monrovia, where you have a stable country. Look at the security issues we are talking about. Have you heard the senator of Monrovia, especially the senator, let me not say especially, but the senator of Monrovia, Sir Joseph, have you heard him speak? Have you heard him call on the Minister of Justice? Have you heard him buttress all our senators like Darius DeLong on the issue of security in our country? You have not heard him. Is he in the interest of the Liberian people? The answer is no, because if the Liberian people do not have security, it means that we are going into troubles. Let's look at the health sector. The senator, he boasts. Sometimes when people ask him questions, are you sure you're going to win? He said, are you referring to the Ebola hero? You mean you're talking to the Ebola hero? Somebody who Ebola in this time. But say this on this larger platform, that I worked for Plan International. Plan International raised more than 10 million during the Ebola. I was leading business development at Plan International. We raised that money. I led the efforts to raise that money. That money was raised to buttress government's efforts in fighting Ebola. The money was used in the health sector, because the money was used in the education sector. The money was used everywhere. Those monies that were raised by international organizations, some were given to Sir Joseph to pick up ballots on the streets. But he said and said he's a hero. But who found the money for you to be a hero? Or to just get an ambulance and flying all around and he's Ebola hero? Where does he get the money from? So when he said he's Ebola hero, I said, but then how do you call me if you call yourself hero? Someone who raised more than 10 million in this country during the Ebola. Then how do you call me? Somebody who, and then let's come back to okay, let's assume, let's agree that Sir Joseph is Ebola hero. He fought. Sir Joseph worked closely with MPL. Sir Joseph worked closely with the Ministry of Health. What are the lapses he saw in the Ministry of Health? What are the lapses he saw in Enfield? What did he do after Ebola? Did he put for policies to improve the health sector, or what? Those are the questions I'm asking. And people can Ebola and say the man gets school, the man, and he boasts about it. That I have a college that will take 3,000 people when it is finished. But who is it for? It is not for Maserado. It is not for the country. It is for him. When we retire him this year, he's going to manage his school. He's going to manage his hospitals. It will not be from. All his bosses are not for Maserado.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We have the message and we appreciate the message.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kokwea. I'm going to go. We'll just go take one question for now. Well, let's go to Mr. Fagon to ask Ms. Kokwea a question, and then we're going to go to kind of Remy Gray.
Well, thank you.
BIL.
You're behind the BIL team because the politics we are on now, she won't close me.
I know. Come with a question.
When I saw her coming on first, I said, I'm sorry, Matu Kaya will hate her on again, my people. You know, I got bad. I'm not talking to Leo. He said, "Fine, I'll deal with it."
Everybody can know that Matu to you, huh?
Yeah, because my eyes not
don't mind.
I can see.
But I'm his SIL now.
I can read everything. But anyway, let me say this. The first thing, let me issue the first correction. And to say that at the time when this incident happened with Yeke, there is a fair colored woman, she's mulatto-like, that was accused at the time of child trafficking with over 525 Liberian children. I'm sure you're aware of the case.
Yes,
she
I
was
am.
forwarded to court. She was found guilty. At the time the case was being investigated. And I think whenever people say the government did this, there was no independent confirmation from an independent committee to say that 2 children were denied their food. Those were allegations made by Yeke. And let's be clear, no Liberian that have eaten salt and pepper will take 2 little children food for them and stand over them, especially 2 weeks old. I don't think anybody can do that. But even the mother will breastfeed them. So we go into the politics and sometimes we become sensationalized and sentimental. That's okay. But if 525 Liberian children got taken out of the country by this woman that has been proven in court now, she's been found guilty. I hear say she's running around the street because she's Jefferson Koji's friend instead of being in jail. That's fine. But if I had to do it again, I will make sure our children are not taken out of the country by anyone for that matter. And I think that what the securities intended to do, maybe I don't know what happened because there was no independent confirmation on that. I'm just trying to clear my character to say he was part of the government. But that was the situation. Were we going to be allowing people to take babies there on the plane without checking? I don't think so. So again, let's leave that part. And Mrs. Kokwea said she's the aspirant for the CPP. I got 2 questions in one though, sister-in-law. The first question here is this. So CPP finished with a convention now, their primary and all, and that you the aspirant now. I just want to know if they can follow political processes. That's my first question. Then I will get you my B question because I don't want it to be long. I just want to know if CPP followed the political process in selecting you.
Honorable Fagon, we'll do one question first because of time.
Okay, did CPP follow the process to make you the aspirant? And if so, if your accusation against Sir Joseph is that, did he push the Ministry of Health to push policies and what have you after all these things? You work with Plan International, right? You gave $10 million out there. Sir Joseph may have benefited from some, as you said. You are asking Sir Joseph, what did he do to impact health policies and push it? I will ask you, what did you do too in the big question to push health policies to bring about change as we see it today? So my first question, did you follow the processes in being selected? And B, you ask Sir Joseph a question, I turn the question around, push it on you.
Okay, thank you. Very good question. I know very well we follow our constitution, first of all, at the ANC, with the Liberty Party, and the ANC will have to put forth their candidates, and then the Liberty Party bring forth their candidate. So at the ANC, so far so good. We are about 7 months to elections. We started this joining, we started our engagement some 3.5 years back. And up to today, nobody have come out to express their interest in the senatorial race for Monrovia. So as it stands, I'm the lone candidate for the ANC, and my name has been forwarded to the CPP for approval. And because you can only go into primaries when you have more than one person. So you can agree by consensus, you can agree on a candidate. And if you have more than one, you can go to primaries. But for my case in the ANC, it's not that. Secondly, at the CPP level, Liberty Party, we have had a consensus that Liberty Party has a sitting senator already. Dara Stillon is the Liberty Party's senator. And so Liberty Party were now going to put forth a candidate. So yes, by consensus, yes, I am the candidate.
No. Let's agree. I want it clear. Are you the CPP candidate, or you are an aspirant? After the whole process is complete, you are hopeful that you will be selected as the CPP, not ANC, the CPP candidate.
Okay, so first of all, let me...
CPP, the reason why I'm asking you, madam, we don't want to take away. There are other people in the CPP. They don't have to necessarily be from Liberty Party, ANC, or there are other people still joining CPP. They might say, you know what, I'm giving it a shot in the CPP. I don't want you to come up first and say, don't bother, I'm already the candidate, you're wasting your time. And that's why I was very clear. As of now, has there been any primary by the CPP, not ANC, to declare you the official candidate?
So I explain the rationale. CPP has not published the listing, has not confirmed all of the aspirant. Let me not use the word candidate, because you can only be a candidate when NEC certify you to be the candidate. That's the time you become a candidate. So yes, I am aspiring. CPP hasn't published the listing, but I am confident, because of the rationale that I have just given you, that I will be the CPP candidate.
Okay, good enough. Thank you very much.
Yeah. To your second question. Yeah. To your
second question, yeah, Mr. Falcon, got time? Yeah, okay.
Sister,
maybe let me just answer it. What do you think?
Go ahead. We just want to make sure that
so actually they didn't understand Minister Fagon's question. I don't know whether he's asking me about what have I done as an individual or as somebody who worked for Play International. I don't know.
No, my question was straight. You said Sir Joseph as an individual benefited from part of the 10 million. He worked with Anfield. He worked with all these people. So you asked the question, what has he done to impact the health sector in terms of policy? So then I heard you say you work with Plan International. So I'm asking you too, just like you're asking the question for Sir Joseph. If people come to you and say, what have you done to impact our health sector in terms of policy? What would be your answer?
In terms of policies, right?
Yeah, in terms of policy. Because that's what you put on Sir Joseph. I just turning it around. You know you're a politician now. I'm trying to help you, because anything you chunk, they will chunk it back to you.
I know. So when I work for Play International, and most of my more than 20 years of experience, I work for Play International in Guinea, Senegal, and here. So we have come up with a lot of policy documents. We came up with strategic plans for the country for Play International. And we ensure that the health sector is keenly looked at because of the assessments we did across the country. We saw that healthcare systems were lacking. So some of the strategic documents we put together was how do we buttress government's efforts in a health system? And I will tell you, some of we look at was how can we help pregnant women? Because based on the strategies we put forth, that led us to how we tailor our proposals to donors. So what we thought to look at some of the health sectors, some of the healthcare centers across the counties we were working in. Look at them. What is lacking? What can we do? And how can we find the money to buttress government's effort? That is exactly what we're doing. So, for example, we look at some clinics, we found out that pregnant women are coming to this clinic. When they come to the clinic, the first thing they are pregnant, they have to give birth. The first thing the doctor is telling them, or the midwife is telling them is go and get water and bring it before we touch you, right? Go and bring water before we touch you. So how can we improve that? So one of the things was, let's improve by having a water system where the pregnant women come, they will be able to just go in, open the pump, take their bath. The doctor will, when the nurses work on them, they'll just be able to open the pump and wash their hands. So we did some of those in some of the counties we work in, some of the communities. And I will give you typical example. We won a project with Coca-Cola, and we implemented this project in Lofa in 5 communities. I can name them. We did it in Salaye, we did it in Vezala, we did it in Lahun, we did it in Lahun. The last one I'm forgetting, maybe will come back. So we did this, and we also ensure that when the children are born or before they are born, how can we help to make sure those children will not suffer from malaria while in a mother's stomach? So we put 4 proposals and we won them, and we implemented this project across the country. We won over 22 million from the Global Fund in collaboration with the Ministry of Health. So what we help the Ministry of Health with, sorry, Dr. Richardson?
Yes, I was just trying to, after you were done, just trying to tell you thank you for that answer.
Okay. Okay, let me we'll come back with a follow-up to the question, then we can answer it. Let's move on ahead.
Thank you. I want to go to Colonel Raymond Gray to ask you his one question. I also want to recognize that Honorable Yeke Kolubah is here. He's going to be telling us right after Colonel Gray asks Ms. Victoria Tolo Kwekwe her question. And then he's going to tell us his experience, what is happening to him, and then we all can chime in. And I actually like Ms. Kwekwe to have a reaction to what she's hearing from Yeke as well in the discussion. So, Colonel Gray, please go ahead.
Madam Tolo Kwekwe, hi. Nice to be on the same panel with you today. One of the consequences of electioneering is it's the free and fairness of it. If it's not free and fair, definitely we end up with consequences that we all probably may not intend in the first place. 1997, there were lots of intimidation by child stealer forces. We couldn't go certain places. So as a result, historically, they say he won 70% of the vote. But those of us who were historians and witnesses of that election, we knew that it was not free. We have heard about instances where sometimes people stop you from campaigning freely in Montserrat. That's the kind of system we have, that intimidatory system where people will like what is going on now with Honorable Kolubah. The thing about that is it gives us people that did not win or wouldn't win fairly Have you experienced any of this intimidation that you can go certain places at will? Have you ever experienced that?
Okay, maybe part of that was also part of Leo's question. Yes, and I must admit to you that sometimes people feel, even in my political party, sometimes people feel that Victoria is everywhere and she's not supposed to be everywhere. Everywhere Mr. Cummings is, Victoria is there. Even you call for a meeting midnight, once Victoria is aware, she's there, and for some people, Victoria is not supposed to be there. But then I want to ask why I should not be there. Why is it that we walk around in a day when a meeting in a night I can't be there? So yes, sometimes people feel that we should not be somewhere, but also yes, we are intimidated sometimes. Like for example, I'll give you a typical example. Nuclear time, we're engaged in the community. They invited me to an intellectual center, and then I started to talk. At one point, when I started to talk about the lapses in the government, the whole place went on fire. The people started insulting, they started intimidating me because I'm a woman. And then my team said, Senator, let's leave this place. Senator, this is for you. I told my team, I said, you know what? They all say we should leave right here. It means that we're not on campaign again. We will stay here. We will stay here, even if we stay here until 10 o'clock, we'll stay here. And I will finish my thought before we leave from here. So we stay there. 3 different times I was cut off, I was insulted, intimidated by other people, saying all kinds of things. But I remained there because these are the tactics. You see what's going on right now? What happening to Yeke? This is a tactic.
You muted Dr. Richardson. I think she's frozen.
Yeah, it looks like we're having problem with connectivity issues, but we'll just roll over to Yeke. Yeke, could you please unmute yourself and just give us a quick synopsis of what is going on in your district? And with you, I'm happy to see that you're somewhat safe physically. Could you please tell us what's going on with you?
Okay, today, like I said, I went around the park up in area, this is a community where the motorcyclists around like 300-400 motorcyclists sent for me. Support to me, and they said they want to come in the district to register. And I told them the election law say anywhere you want to register, you should go there. And people don't have to get in trouble. People got your bag, you can go individually and go and do what you want to do. So they decided to escort me in my district. We left park up in, came all the way through red light, passed through, got to VP Road, Kelly Junction, and passed through the VP Road, and went to the brigade, to my brigade base. While at the base, somebody called me and said, it's not easy in the market, it's like the people coming to your place. So I told all my guys to remain in. Dr. Richardson, you'll be surprised to know that after some time, I got on the VP Road, I saw the police officers there and people being brutalized. People going to the police officer, marketeers. You see how the people have treated us? The police say, you're going to lodge your complaint. Nobody was arrested at that point. So I took my phone and called the director of police. Mr. Director of Police, are you aware of the situation in the, on the old road? He said, it's above me because Jefferson Koji have moved on the old road. So you will experience all of that. Jefferson Koji have moved on the old road, so that situation is above me. So, Dr. Richardson, where are we going with this country? When our people being brutalized? Dr. Richardson, people car will bust up. Those car have arms, according to the people on VP Road. Have car licenses. I said, I saw one woman cut her here because of her money bag. You need to send your reporter on VP Road tomorrow. Send your reporter tomorrow. Let them talk to the citizen on VP Road tomorrow. Dr. Richardson, the country is going nowhere. The country is going back to the dark days. What my people saw today, what they experienced today, Dr. Richardson, if the international community don't come in, the country is going back to the dark days.
Yeah.
Because if the director of police will tell me it's above him, then that means it's above the justice minister. That means the instruction came from the president. That I know of. And in the face of the police, the people said, in the face of the police, while I was there, people came, wanted to talk to the police said, we're not here for that. You go and lodge your complaint. Can you imagine that the Regency, the director of police, that the Regency, where are we heading with this country? Where are we heading with this country? Look, Ambassador, we are saying he don't want to see me in the capital building anymore. The best thing they can do is like the holding the people. Let them hold the people there. Let go through the ballot box. Let me not be re-elected. But my people being brutalized. My people being harassed. It was a complete armed robbery today on my people in the district. That I reached when I got on the VP road. The people came around me. What can we do? I said, but what can I do? They think I mean the court honorable. That was getting me embarrassed. That I reached I felt like doing something different today. Let me be very frank with you. With the kind of way my people were brutalized, I saw colored mark on people. Send your reporters there tomorrow or send your reporter there tonight. Let them go do their own investigation and talk to people there. I mean, it'll be too okay for us.
Yeah.
We'll come back to the war days. People may not want to hear this because some of them are not in Liberia, some of them being affected. What I saw today on the VP road, we come back to the war days. People have guns, cutlasses, chopping people up, busting people car windshields. Send your report right now to Zone 3. I will tell the other guys that he called the people and they say he must take a car to Zone 3. 5 cars were bust up today. Wow. Yesterday in the process, there's a guy that contested in the court, GMP, Master Russia. He was affected in the process by the police. Instead of the police arresting the people, I mean, he got harm in the process.
Wow.
He called me. Then I call the people and go and interview him.
Okay.
We can't do the country like this. We can't do the country like this. We can't do the country like this. We go back to the war days. The people have started shooting people were gone. And terrorizing the district were gone. And the people are saying nothing coming out here. And the team is being held by VMO. VMO was involved with killing somebody to the Bonap farm before. When you were in the police, he was dismissed from the police, and they brought him back to the police. He the one under instruction to remain there in the poor district number 10 being brutalized. You're not doing it to me, George Weah. You are not doing it to me. Your own supporters today were brutalized because you don't want to see Yeke. You don't want to see me. Go to the ballot. And that I can tell George Weah, I will beat him in district number 10. If I don't beat George Weah in district number 10, like he has given $1 million to the Commerce Inspector General to hold people in the district. You're holding people, I'm not talking. Bring everybody you want to bring. That regency, you'll be surprised to know that people on the bus, people on the buses call me and say, yeah, we'll come here, but we'll vote for you. So the wasting of time, that regency, nobody can beat me in district number 10. You waste your time.
Thank you.
I don't have money to hold people, but people will come by themselves and will register, and I will be re-elected. Watch it and see. If I don't beat George Weah in district number 10, my phone will turn to my back. It's a challenge between he and myself.
Thank you. Thank you. If you're just joining us, we had Miss Victoria Tolu Kwekwe here because she just texted me and said she has connectivity issues. So she is trying to get back on. But we also have Honorable Representative Yeke Kolubah here, who is experiencing some election challenges by way of violence in his community. And he's telling us about what is happening to him. He said that he made a report to the police, and he heard, in his words, the police said that it was above him. Somebody got dog in the background?
Sorry, my dog.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. You need those dogs for protection. Okay. So I'm going to, first of all, go to Leo. Leo, you have any questions for Honorable Yeke Kolubah?
Yep. So, Representative Kolubah, thank you for sharing with us. As I sit here listening to you, I'm kind of thinking, and we often say 2 wrongs don't make no right. And part of what we're all hoping is that violence to be de-escalated, because no matter what happens, when violence come. The same people you're trying to represent, your own people, also get affected by it, by some of the attacks that happen. Do you think it might make sense for someone like yourself to enlist the support of some of the elders in the community now, or religious leaders that you may know, who you think are trusted, or whatever that is, to find other ways of ensuring that your people are protected as well, if they can wield some influence? Have you ever thought about any of that? And, because at the end of the day, the situation is where it is. I'm not going to sit here and judge. I'm not in the situation myself, but I'm just thinking, as someone like yourself, trying to protect the interests of the very people in your district who are now feeling the brunt of all of these violence that's going on. Have you ever thought about something like that? Or do you know, potential religious leaders in the community or elders in the community who you believe might be able to be engaged and find a way to de-escalate some of this, so that your people don't end up in a situation that children get hurt and people get brutalized?
Robolio, what I have done, my contact that I got in and around the world, my contact that I got in places, I have called them. They are aware of the situation. Look, our elders, our mothers, our fathers have resolved that they can get peace. The peace will come October 8, where they will go to the ballot bus. Most of them are not talking, and vote the criminals out. If these criminals are not out, the people will not have peace, and they know it. You think people don't want to talk? You think people don't want to say it? You think bishop, pastors are not being harassed? They are. What can they do? We talk every day. I talk to Bishop Lee. I talk to everybody. They are my bishops. They are my pastors. I talk to Reverend Boga, all those people, all those bishops. I don't want to start calling names because it will not end. I talk to imams, all those imams. Look, Leo, when you come to my district right now, just make one telephone call. I say I want to see all the imams. I give you 10 minutes. They will come to me. Not that I older than them, but they respect the God for me. They believe in me. Sure. You come in my district right now and say I want to see all the bishops and the pastors. I give you 10 minutes. They will come to me. You know why? Because they believe in me.
Bishop Winger can come now.
The Bishop Winger will come. Not because his church will be used to gossip, but he will come.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying, Leo?
You like Jesus.
Leo, sorry for just calling Leo.
No, go ahead. That's fine.
Let the spoon people do their survey to now. Pick your same people from your office. Let them go talk to people.
Yes, the CEO TT Kana is listening. I'm gonna just circle back now.
Thank you. Let them go there now. They don't have car. We'll send car for them.
I want to welcome Ms. Victoria Tolu-Kwekwe back to the show. I'm going to ask her to be thinking about what she makes of whatever you're telling her. And since she's in Monrovia, she's going to these different places. But I'm going to actually detour a little bit to Mr. Fagon to either have a choice of asking you, Mr. Kolubah, or either asking Ms. Victoria a question.
Well, thank you. The first thing I want to say to Yeke, if I was running in your district, can you beat me? Well, you just sitting down here talking, nobody can beat you, nobody. You can beat you if I go in your district.
You're the only person that can beat me if I go.
Thank you very much. I clarify it. Because the first thing I went to what I feel talking to pose, you can go sit down small. Now, really, is that because the people can escort you outside of Fagompa? Now, una jail they can put you in because they bring you back and the fighting will start. So, but let me say this.
When people be talking seriously, they just come from left field.
No, but I make it even a CPP candidate, because I can say CPP candidate, she said when I say candidate, she ANC candidate, she see who coming. If I put up with her in the primary, can she beat me in the primaries? Everybody. You can beat me.
BRL.
Yes.
I will not be there yet. I will beat you flat.
You got to pass for the play coming from far before you beat me flat. You don't beat the people in ANC. I mean, but
I finished your ANC. I just told you. Are you coming to join ANC today to be candidate from ANC to be aspirant?
Beat anybody anytime. Anybody. Because what? You can say
okay, I seek your support. I seek your support.
I'm the only man in the country that everybody know if they get me, the microphone will be
I seek your support.
24/7. But anyway,
BIL, I seek your support.
The PIA calling you a Miss Salimatu now on top of me again. Ain't see that?
Yeah, we'll have to investigate. We'll have to investigate these issues after the show in the background. But go ahead.
You see the situation he put me in. But anyways, let me say this too. Right now, I'm the only one here because all of you pretty much are ANC, CPP people. And I see that you are crying out for some sort of help relative to security. I just want to encourage you all because you know what? It's not unique to just ANC. The whole country, Dr. Francis, 5 o'clock people running inside, locking the door, standing to the window. The whole country lives pretty much in fear. And maybe some people would not want me to say this, but a very quiet person told me, and I can confirm this from several sources, and I'm challenging the government to do a survey. They said during Ellington, they used to sit in the Tesla and just talk anyhow they want to talk. They said, but nowadays, you got to look around before you talk. You sit down in car, you let bobo. You in front of your house, you don't want to be seen. Nobody wants to be bothered. The country is in total fear. And part of this pre-electoral violence that's taking place around the country only serves one purpose: to ignite the politics of fear that will eventually lead to low voter registration, low voter turnout, and that people will eventually become disenfranchised by the very government that is supposed to protect them, to have them exercise Article 1, where the power is inherent in them. So, I mean, listening to all of you and what you're going through, I don't see how the elections, we can brag that the elections will be free and fair. Couple of reasons before the both of you come in to speak about it. No money for NEC yet. The NEC people out there are not being paid.
You talking about NEC? Some people are not being paid for 2 months. This is the 10 months.
I know. I was coming to it. No US
2
dollars.
months. 7 are not being paid.
Complete
Don't
hardship.
forget about NEC. They want to have election, but not have election. Let them pay the 7s.
Okay.
Yeah, so I see that people are now complaining. No food, I'm going to stay online whole day. But let's look at NEC. How are you going to carry out these elections when you can't afford the money? Okay. 2, the technology you brought in is a problem. 3, the Constitution says you should do the demarcations before elections, but you are now doing the registration, and then everybody will be in some kind of district, especially people like Dr. Francine. Imagine you go register in in District 10. Mm-hmm. Only after that for them to do the demarcation and say, sorry, you're in District 7.
Yeah,
what do you know about District 7?
I know. And how I had to go back. I don't even know how to do this.
Okay, so you see, the whole thing has become a mess. So we're going to have to brace ourselves for what is to come. So my question to both of you is this. Why don't you prevail on your political institutions to call for an all-out political parties meeting? Meaning you bring all the stakeholders to the table. Forget about who you are. They say ANC people proud. That's not my business. Just call for an all-out stakeholder meeting.
That other red herring out there, but it's okay.
Yeah, but that's why the people say that they can't say. So why don't you all, you are candidates, why don't you prevail on your political institutions to call for this all opposition political parties meeting to address these issues so that you can find a lasting solution so as to avoid what is expected to come?
Okay, I'll let Miss Victoria answer that question, and then we'll go to Honorable Yeke Kolubah, and then we'll have to go to Colonel Gray to ask this question. Miss Victoria, let's start with you.
Yes. Minister Fagon asked, I think, 2 or 3 questions in one. And one, he talked about the money. And Minister Fagon, this is where I keep talking about the legislature. Sometimes we put a lot of blame on the executive, but I think the legislature should be playing cardinal role in these kind of things. When the budget is submitted to the national budget is submitted to the legislature, they should peruse it and advise on account lines that are necessary for that particular year. The last time I heard Honorable Yake Kolubah shouting in the legislature to tell the people that this budget is not in the interest of the Liberian people, so we cannot pass it. They put him also. They put him also. And he was saying the right thing. So when we are preparing the national budget, don't we know that we have elections in this year? Don't we know that we're supposed to do voter registration? Don't we know that we're supposed to do awareness? Don't we know that we're supposed to do X, Y, Z in a year? How are we allocating the money? But what we do usually, the allocation we do, we put it on a donor funding. And there where I have problems. Even the health sector, there where I have problems. You cannot put the health sector or the educational sector on a donor funding. It means that when you don't win that grant, that sector remains dormant. So we all know that we should have election by our constitution. We should have elections this year, 2023. Why didn't we allocate the money? Where were the lawmakers when our budget was being passed? That's one point. You talk about the voter registration, the biometric. Before I come to the third one, the biometric, I want to say, I don't know when they were doing the testing of this biometric, and I'm getting afraid. I saw on social media in a lot of chat rooms a voter registration card with the same face, two different names. The first names are different. The last name is the same. Two different voting centers. It's circulating on social media. Did we test it to say whether one person cannot register twice? Did we test it? That I am afraid also, because I'm seeing something circulating. Hope it is not true. Hope it is fake. But we need to investigate and ensure that this system will register only one person. And how we can do it, I will share with you, Dr. Richardson. Maybe you already have it. You see the code, and luckily for us, you can plug in, you can put in all your information in the system. So your telephone number is there. So let's trace the person by their telephone number through the GSM company. Let's trace this person who got registered twice. Let's understand why. Why is it happening? So this is something for chaos. This is something for fraud. If people are getting registered twice, it means they will vote twice, because they have separate voter registration card. But other things about the voter registration. Today, my engagement led me all the way to Hotel Africa. And by the way, Dr. Richardson, I must admit that Bestie is doing a very good job for us, for the CPP. Today, we were in the Hotel Africa area. I think you saw the photos. We posted them on social media. So they are doing a lot of good work, and we are really proud of you people. So today, I saw that particular group. While we were leaving that group, on our way, we saw on the way, people are sitting down there, taking down people voter registration number, photo cards number. Why? Why are they doing this? Can we investigate why people are doing this? And I want to tell you, other things we observe, because I have been going from one polling place to another. Other things we observe. The Muslims wear the hijab. Some networkers are harassing them to say they cannot wear the hijab. Sometimes they go, it's like a mockery. But they chose to dress like that. You see, Mr. Farah was saying he thought that Salimatu Nata, Victoria never leave her hair open. Victoria likes to, tie her head, and I feel beautiful tying my hair. So how can I go take my picture and somebody say, take out your hair tie because I want to do voter registration? Even when you want to play DV, you just need to show your ear. You don't have to take out a hair tie. So those are things that are happening that we need to flag out. In 2017, they harass Muslim women.
You're raising something. Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off, but you're raising something very scary, because if that we have to go that route, then think about the people that will wear hijab over their face and come rocking like somebody. To be
no, that's not what we are saying, Minister. No, that's not what we are saying. We ourselves.
You got to Remy, great. soon. We gotta go. He has to ask his next question. Yes. Go ahead, Miss Victoria.
Yes. So we are not saying, but how do you take a picture when your face is not showing? So we are not saying when you are covered. When you are covered, you have to remove it. But we are saying that like this, your face is showing. You don't have to tell the person to remove this. No, that's what we are saying.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I want to remind everyone that Dr. Rachel said, maybe I will just share with you for you to put it on. In 2017, we took neck to court for this same thing, and we won the case. So this year, some places people are doing it, they are still harassing people, and we want to call on the people. Anybody harass you, call us. We will be right there and you will get registered. You are a citizen of Liberia and you should be registered.
Okay.
And sometimes they even harass the people. They will say, you can't speak good English. What made you Liberian? But I got my grandmother who passed away. She never used to speak good English. But she was born in this Liberia and grew up in this Liberia. She went nowhere, but she can speak English. I got a lot of them around. The normal people, you go to the market, sometimes you're talking to them, when you hear them, they don't speak good English. So are you going to deny somebody because they are not educated? Those are things that we need to look at.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Kokwe.
Go to school at all, so they can speak English.
Thank you, Ms. Tolo Kokwe. Reverend Gray, please ask your question, and then we are going to, it is 6:17 right now. Please ask your question, and I'm going to ask Ms. Kokwe, what does she make about what Honorable Kolubah is going through? She did tell us a little bit her experience when she was in the district. Reverend Gray, please ask. Reverend Gray, please ask your question.
All right, Honorable Kolubah, of course, all of this that is happening to you, for me, I'm looking at national security. It takes one person sometimes to trigger the national security of any country. It took one guy who lit himself on fire, in Tunisia, and then the whole Arab belt went helter-skelter. My question to you, do you foresee that 2023 October election will be I don't want to say fair, but do you see anybody winning this administration in the ballot box?
No, I don't see it. From what I see, the people will harass our people. They will put fear in the people. And our political leaders said a thing, this is only happening because of Yeke. They got to be very mindful. The vote that will be in district number 10, it will be more than 4 districts in Monrovia County. So if they will put fear in the people and the people don't go to vote, well, I won't be the only person being affected. And I don't see the election being peaceful. From what I'm saying now, the election will not be peaceful. It will never, ever be peaceful. That is why I'm not talking to anybody in Liberia anymore. When it comes to security matters, I'm not talking to anybody anymore. The justice minister is of no use. The director of police is of no use when it comes to security business. So I'm not talking to anybody in Liberia anymore when it comes to the security business. I think our international people will help us in the process. So I've decided to take that route, and that's what I'm going through. Like today, when my people on the VB road said that I just jumped in my car and left to make 1 or 2 calls to inform who are supposed to inform. So people will be informed. Look, action will be taking our international partner before the election. I can assure you that. If anybody think, if Jefferson coaching anything because they move on the old road, the people should be harassed because the people have said, you do this or you do what will vote for you, so the people should be harassed. Look, people will be penalized by our international partner. Watch and see. I give you the latest 3 months. Something will be done. That I can say. Something will be done. I give you the latest 3 months. The people are getting all the information and additional information and everything that's going on. Like you heard in the human rights report, the State Department report. You saw my name there, right? I was mentioned there. How I'm being harassed The report that just came out, I think 4 or 5 days ago, how I'm being harassed, they put my name, I'm being harassed by this government. You think the people not informed? The people informed. For me, I got a telephone to call nobody. But I can use people's phone to call when I want to call. And my message will go through. Yeke is crazy. But the place his message can go, the some people messages don't go there. I can assure you that 100%. And I've been protected by the Muslim community, the Christian community, and the people have said to them, we are watching Yeke. We are looking. They put one kill me a long time. Long time. They've been wanting to kill me, even day before yesterday. But you know why? People watching. If Yeke die, it will be okay. But see how the country will go. See how the country will go. You understand? Our people being harassed. For me, I'm not scared. The people saw me on the VB road. They came to stood up by me. You understand? And I passed. And I got people that were driving on the VB road and monitoring my activities. Let me let them know today. If they don't know that. If they don't know that, they can't do nothing to me. That's why I speak the way I speak. I'm not afraid. If I were afraid, I would run away from the town. If I were afraid, I would run away from the town.
Okay.
You see the verse? I just received the verse today. This is stage. This is number 2. This is a bulletproof verse. From this, the one that comes before this is the one the American president used. And I will get someone on this for my security.
Okay.
So I'm not afraid.
It's concerning to me that, our citizens and people who are in our government are in need of a bulletproof jacket to feel safe. But, it's very concerning. So let me just circle back to you, Yeke. Yeke, we sort of post where your opponent, Josephine Davis, was saying that you sent thugs to attack her or us with cutlasses in a store. What do you make of that? We can't hear you.
The people of the district know me here that are regency. That all the people have decided to elect me. The $1 million, like, you're watching all these people. That are regency. You think somebody can rear women in that district? You think I really need to fight? My job is to talk. You can see me doing project in that district. That's not my job to do it. When I get money, the poor district number 10 told me, say, take your family out of here. So I send it for them to eat. They put no, I need to maintain my family. That woman, my son, got to
Okay.
Don't compare me with that woman. When people less busy, all they do.
So you are denying that you gather any talks? So Representative Yeke, you are denying that you were involved in gathering any talks to go and attack her. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
I don't want to, when I bring myself to that woman, then she want me being popular. That woman wants to use me to get popular. I'm not going to dignify her.
Okay.
The poor district number 10 with this.
Yes, I'm going to go to you, Ms. Kwekwe. What do you make of what is happening in Yeke's district, and also being there and going to the different districts and running? What do you make with our security situation in the country? And then it is going to go to our 6:30 mark. I want to go to the phone lines as well before we do our go to closing.
Let me be real. Like I explained to you from the beginning of the show when I came on. I think that was the first thing I talked about, Yeke district.
Yes.
The oral market is where I will always go to buy my food, So Yeke district, I think it is not only Yeke district, it is also District 9, District 9 too. There are similar thing happening, but yet for Yeke district is a little bit tough. And I think for the past 3 or 4 days, every night there are issues in Yeke district. Every time, in fact, the last time he was not home when I started seeing on social media that there were attacks at his home. I called him and he said, I'm not there, I'm not aware. In fact, let me go there right now. He was not even here. He said, let me go there right now. So it is worrisome. It is worrisome that we will have this kind of situation. And if we can have this situation doing voter registration, it means that during the heat of the campaign, there will be chaos. And I like the way Yeke is putting it. The international community will have to come in to calm this situation. Because when I look at the police, with no disrespect, because my mother is a retired police, when I look at the police of yesterday and today, I do not know whether it is the lack of professionalism or because we just want to be partisan police. I don't know how to classify them, but you see things happening in the eyes of the police and you see nothing done. Example. Let's look at July 26th last year when SUP had their protests. What happened in the eyes of the police? From the police, for the Liberia National Police to the University of Liberia campus, it's just few minutes walk. Central Monrovia. And we saw that people brutalized these students. Today they are walking scar-free. Nothing comes from all of it. Recent time, students, the University of Liberia have been placed where anybody can boo anybody. The last time I went there, when I was talking to students on the campus, and somebody came, oh, that oh man, they want run, and yeah, so they know, they want run. So he started, but I saw that they were getting in their meditative mood because I went to the University of Liberia. I know when they want to get into their meditative mood. So myself put myself in their meditative mood and I started singing the soup. Soup will never die. When I started, they said, oh, the man are veteran. So you see, so yeah, they were getting in their meditative mood. Either they were going to boo me from there, and the media were going to carry it. So I mean, so they can boo anybody from there. They didn't beat on anybody. They just boo you from there. And the next day, Honorable Gray. Yes, sometimes I can make mistake actually to say Honorable, or I like to say Representative Gray or Representative Kolubah. I like to add the Honorable there because honorable things, you call them honorable. Not just because they are elected to the house, then you call them
We are
honorable.
not honorable. We are crooks. We are criminals. And we are robbing the Liberian people. We are not honorables.
Yeah. So when you, as a certain lawmaker, when students misbehave, what do you do? And these are some of the things we say. What do you do? Especially, you are a board member of the University of Liberia. What do you do? Why can't you use the law? But instead, you say you were going on the University of Liberia campus to have lunch. Because of you, all restaurants on the University of Liberia campuses were closed. So where did you go to have lunch? Because you wanted to create chaos. You created that chaos. Students go wounded. If I want one, let me just be very frank with you. Somebody called me from Europe to say, where is Yeke? I said, what do you mean? She said, you know what happened on the UL campus? You have to tell Yeke to go there to go move Yaka's girlfriend. I said, but Yeke supposed to go there. By the time I could back my Anna, Yeke, if I was on that campus and asking the students to go back to class, I saw people jubilating. I mean, we are worried that a certain lawmaker will go on a university campus to create chaos. It is unfortunate. Our country, if I tell you I'm not worried, I'm worried for this country. Every day I think about the way things are going. Every time you hear either somebody missing, this person died, and nothing comes from all of it. Nothing comes from all of it.
Sure.
So
Thank you.
I am worried about the security situation in our country.
So you're not coming 1 minute, please.
Yes, please, Mr.
Okay. So tomorrow the CDC National Youth Chair will be carrying people from different districts. They'll be walking with Zogos. They say they are going to register in district number 10 and that they're right. I just don't want my people to be harassed. Let them bring everybody to come register in the district. Everybody. Let them leave my citizen alone. Let them take me to the ballot box and defeat me. Let them leave my citizen alone. That they're right to go anywhere. The election law says anywhere you register, that's where you vote. So that they're right to go. But while they're moving, let my citizen be protected. I just got that information from the CDC chat room that the youth wheelchair will be going to register tomorrow in district number 10, that he right. He will be marching tomorrow with a group of people that they're right. And I don't think people should ask him where they come from. I want more people to come. And the police have sent 500 people in Bombing County to be trained in Camp Biago. 500. You call the other police now, or the police spokesman, then they deny it. Camp Biago. Send a reporter to Camp Biago. They send 500 seditions, Zogos will be trained there. I challenge the Dauda police to deny it, or the justice minister or the police spokesman. Tomorrow I will take you people there. If the people are not there training, I will resign as representative and I will not run.
Thank you.
My challenge.
Thank you. I know you had asked us to send our reporters out there, Mr. Representative Kolubah, but given the situation, it's so late. We want to make sure that our reporters are protected. So we'll do our best to get somebody out there, but not at this moment. I just got that from the CEO in Liberia. So I want to move to the phone lines, please, panelists. If you can just stay with me on this. As Yekesi, could you please come? Let's take calls from Liberia, and the calls can go to Miss Victoria Tolo Kwekwe or Honorable Yeke Kolubah, and then we'll take 5 calls from Liberia, and then we'll go to the diaspora line, where we'll take another 5 calls, and then we'll have our closing comments, where I would appreciate it if you guys, the panelists, can sort of add your voice to all that you are hearing here tonight. And then, of course, we'll go to closing comments by both of our guests. Hopefully, we can do this by 7 o'clock today. Yekezi, thank you for being here. I just saw you briefly. Yekezi?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, can you tell? We have Honorable Kolubah here tonight, and also we have Miss Victoria Tolu Kwekwe here tonight. Can you ask our callers to present their questions to them?
Okay. So the numbers are 0777 77 1075, 0777 77 0777 what does 0777 777 1075 0555 101075. Let's talk to this person. Hello. Hello. Okay, we lost that caller. Good evening. Hello.
Yeah. Patrick.
Your name again, please.
You.
Yeah, your name again.
It's Patrick. I'm trying. Okay.
Your line is breaking up.
I see you, man. You can't put that.
Okay. Let's hear you. Your line is breaking up. Please call us back. Let's talk to this other person. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Your name and where you join us from?
My name is Douglas. I'm calling for this too.
Okay. What's your concern? Hello, are you there? Hello? Okay, I don't know what's happening, but we're not getting you. Let's talk to this other person. Good evening.
Good evening.
Your name and where you join us from?
Calling from Oro, District 10.
Okay, what's your concern?
The honorable talking to and the two attacking Nana, I shall say now on 9 pieces. I don't know what going on. Actually, we to the get back. I don't know any kind of way to say what for it.
Okay, thank you. Let's talk to this other person here. Good evening. Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Your name and where you join us from?
I'm Samuel Hodge, calling from Johnsonville.
Samuel, let's hear you.
Yeah, I just want to make some clarification on what Kolubah was talking about.
Go right ahead.
To the 500 men. Hello?
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Yeah, the 500 men talk about that sedition, and then they are not people choosing by CDC, you know, for the police, they go down, police, they recruit, you know, they recruit their people, and then, how they call it, they are 500 men that were called to go for training, and they are not CDC, and they are Liberians, they are black, so I don't want you to say the accusation and the go for training, the carrying, so that information, whosoever give it to him is wrong.
Thank you.
It's not true.
Thank you. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Good. Yes.
Good evening. Your name and where you join us from?
Israel. On the backward.
You say your name, you break in.
Yeah.
Your line is breaking up. Your name and where you join us from? Okay, let's talk to this other person. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Your name and where you join us from?
Yeah, thank you. I'm Michael E. Flomo Senior. I'm from 13.
Let's hear you, Michael.
Yeah, my brother, I want to start by, condemning any form of, violence. I think we as Liberians, we should be tired of, in any kind of violent move. Because for me, I saw all the war in this country, my brother. I felt all the pains of the war in this country. So when I see people getting involved in violent moves, I feel so bad. I think Yeke, who is an honorable man, not honorable man, like Mother Kwekwe said, is not, a representative. I think he should be, most of the time in the representative mood. But you see my brother wearing, bulletproof jacket, getting involved, taking colors, insulting the president. I think that's bad for Yeke. Yeke should be, he should stop these kind of things. If you have issues, you come on and say, oh my God, we're talking in the world, the speaker don't pay attention to me. Continue to meet the Liberian people, stop insulting our mothers, our sisters, stop insulting men who.
Thank you. Let's talk to this other person. Good evening.
Last call, please. Yeah, so we can go to the international line. Mr. Falcon is already reminding me of the time today. Interestingly.
Okay. Your name and where you join us from? Hello?
Hello.
Your name and where you join us from? Okay, let's quickly replace this call. Good evening.
So when the other people come to criticize the government, they call
your name and where you join us from?
Yes, this is Bobby Noon's call from Jacob.
Yeah, let's hear you, Bobby.
Yes, thank you for allowing me. Brothers, I only want to speak about the issue about Representative Yeke Kolubah. My brother, this country, we've been going through a lot of tragedies in the country. But Yeke Kolubah, on the road, Yeke Kolubah shouldn't be in the bankers or he start bringing problems. Those groups that Yeke Kolubah truck, he carried those people, he told them for registration that he would give them $20 USD each. And when they reached there, the people told him he will give the money again, go for registration. And he refused and he didn't get the money. And even the district said, no, these people can't be registered. He took those people from Amokachi and Gajina. That those Muslim people, they were telling.
Okay.
So Yeke Kolubah should bring problem into this country.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go to our international line.
Can I make an observation here?
Please do.
And anybody can go back and take a listen. I observed that all the people that had comments against Yeke Kolubah or something had a very clear line. And all those who came to speak against the violence or somehow in support, their line were breaking and somehow they couldn't get through. That is an observation I would like to be investigated. And I'd like to know why that the conversation went one-sided, but those who had their time had to be cut off. It's an observation.
I think it was for the network. They didn't check the network.
International line.
Wait. It's serious. If all of them will have network problem, but the supporters of the government don't have network problem.
So what are you suspecting?
No, it's not what I'm suspecting. Give me
We're
chance.
going to the international line. We're not going to.
Don't listen to other.
Mr. Falcon is registering his observation.
I'm raising
He has the right
issue. You're not in any position to stop me from my right to express my view. I'm not subject to an investigation from you. It's an observation that I'm making because Orange is there, Looster is there. The people got the same phone company.
Hello?
The other people got the same phone company. But that line breaking, the other people line not breaking. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just concerned. And I should have that right. Government don't have their own cell phone company.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, your name and where you calling from?
Hello?
What's your name and where you
Yeah,
calling
this
from?
is Anikaba. I'm calling you from Italy, you know. I wanted to say something about being paced up.
No,
I even forgot about what I wanted to say. I didn't want to respond to a caller who said
Go ahead.
iron jacket going around. So you can see the pro attacking the men everywhere. The men should not wear iron jacket. You want for them to go kill somewhere slowly. You see armed men attacking the men every time. They carry stones to the men house to go attacking. They want to kill the men every day after the men life. Then you talk about the men wearing iron jacket. So you want for him to wear ball naked so they can go hold him and kill him somewhere.
All right, thank you.
Just made me pace all the thing I wanted to say. I didn't even say. I just responded to that caller. What I was saying about the Kolubah wearing iron jacket. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Hello? Hello? Hello, I'm sorry. I'm coming right back. Hello? I don't know what happened to the line. I'm trying to get something out here. I'm sorry, my network. I don't know.
Okay, we can move to closing. It's 6:43 already. If you're not getting any calls coming through.
Yeah, I'm back. Hello?
Okay, we're gonna move to closing. I'm going
so
to.
can I close first? Because my network is not good.
Yes, please. We're gonna have our guests do their closing. It's 6:43. We want to be out of here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for affording me the opportunity to talk tonight. To be on your show tonight, as usual. The last time I said they were training people on the police academy, and they got a call today, or we call from the director of police office to acknowledge that people being trained. And he acknowledged that people were trained, but those people are not seditions, and I got evidence that those people are seditions. I said today again, 500 men being trained. You know, sometimes when I say it, people don't believe it. But the people that second agree. They see guy from the director of police office call today again to deny that they are not seditions, but 500 men is being trained to Cambiago. And my information, anytime I give you information, it will all be 100% correct. As you have been in Nima County tomorrow, one of my political leaders got program there. The people of Nima County really wanted me to be there tomorrow, but I can't leave. I have to stay in Monrovia County to see after the situation of my people in district number 10. I won't be there. And those 1,000 men, yes, it is 1,000. The American government gave money to train 1,000 police people. But I wrote the American embassy telling them that the money they send is being used to train seditions, people from the MCC, and people that will brutalize. And these people that are registered, you know when people coming out, these people will come out only for the election. And that guy will call again and say, yes, that's true. People will come out only for the election because they've been trained. The American government money they sent to train 1,000 men. They have been misused and abused. But the justice minister, the president, and the director of police. We are calling on the American embassy that they are invested too much in the rule of law. They didn't do some investigation because the people, their intent is to train police people, but the government intent is to train seditions that pay loyalty to them so they can brutalize people. International community, civil society, council of churches, our spiritual leaders, The Muslim community, I can't leave them out because they are important in the process. I listened to NTV talking about our mothers that are wearing the hijabs are being harassed. I think it's bad. Everybody got a culture. It's very embarrassing to know only ambassador we do not have a culture because he want to be bishop. At the same time, he want to be imam. At the same time, he want to be the chief zoo. He want to serve everybody at the same time. We are condemning that. Our mothers should be respected and they must be protected. They do not have any right to caution them at all. If somebody came and brought complaint and say, NTV is now a citizen, that when the people should come.
Oh, what happened? Okay, looks like we lost Representative Yeka Kolubah. We're gonna go on to Miss Victoria Tolu Kwekwe to do her closing remarks, and then we'll go on to the panelists. You are muted, Miss Victoria.
Thank you. Let me first of all say again, thank you to the panelists. To be very frank, I'm enjoying the show as usual. But I think the analysis on this show in recent time is a bit balanced, because sometimes you see people who we think sometimes from their way of speaking, they are from the ANC or from the CPP, sometimes from the Unity Party or from the CDC government. And I want to confess here that I really can enjoy Minister Fagon, because he's the one there. It's like he sits in the back the day everybody on one side, he takes the other side, and this is the beauty of the show, where the show is balanced regardless of your political party you are affiliating with. You have to be balanced on the show, and I'm enjoying actually the show. I see more responsible show in recent time. No offense to other people who were on the panel, but I just want to say this is how I feel. Now, let me say that our security situation, we have to be careful. We have to talk about this over and over and again, because where our country is leading to is really, really, really scary. Sometimes you just look at somebody, you're driving, and the person just run behind your car and just knocking and just make noise and just insult you, and that's it. Yeah. So, but look, I mean, every day I speak as the president, because if the police director is not doing his job, so why keep the police director there? When the Minister of Justice is not doing his job, why keep the Minister of Justice there? That's my point. Why are we keeping people on a job when they are not doing their job? Is it because when we remove them from there, the government will not work again? I sometimes don't understand what's going on. Violence are committed against women and children. Let's look at this 2-year-old baby that was slaughtered just the last time. These things are happening and nobody saying anything. Violence happening everywhere. You want to campaign? The last time I went to Chikizu Factory, was it Chikizu Factory? Kesali Boulevard. I had a very good interaction with the people. When I left from there, the next thing I saw on Facebook was Sir Joseph supporters were saying that Madame Victoria Tolu Kwekwe was chased from Kesali Boulevard. I was never chased, but it means that they are meditating on chasing me from somewhere. But these things should stop. We are in a democratic world. Our country is a democratic country. Let's go with the message. Let's go and convince the voters. Do not go after your friend because your friend is engaging. We were engaged the same kind of people. The last time I was invited for a community induction ceremony, and the senator, Joseph, was the guest speaker there. We were there. He didn't turn up until they asked another person to serve as guest speaker. But because I was there, somebody just called him and he keyed in. He made his speech. When I got on to speak, people didn't want to listen to me. The senator has sponsored that program. The senator had already put 500,000 in the people's account.
Oh, wow.
And the senator was asking them that they should encourage all our politicians to come and put money there. Say that election time, you open your account, they will come, they will put money there. This must stop. In a country, a democratic country that is governed well, you will not be seen as parents giving out money or candidates giving out money to voters. That's a crime. You cannot pay for the votes. But I'm happy that our people are listening to us. Our people are understanding the message. Our people are understanding that their votes are not supposed to be bought. So we thank God for that, and we will continue to sensitize the people to let them know that your votes should not be bought. Somebody will give you $20. That somebody just said, Yeke is giving $20 to each person he's trucking in a district. Tomorrow I'll go to Yeke hall. I don't know say that how he got money. He needs to give me some. Let me do my engagement. People with Jacka money is $20. He needs to give me some. But I know that Jacka doesn't have that money to. And I hope Yeke will not be bad about this. So now Yeke can come in interview. You get small thing that I say, my man, I'm running for county, you're running for district, your small district, my big county, you asking me for money again. You sitting lawmaker instead of nothing. So let's discourage this. And Dr. Richardson, let me just end by this. I want to say that this platform, you need to use this platform, because this platform is on so many radio stations and people turn in every evening. You need to take at least 30 minutes to tell our people that people giving you money to vote for them is wrong. In a real governed country, people who give money to vote for you to vote for them, they should go to jail. Nobody's supposed to be giving money to somebody to vote for them. You bring your platform. Let's free your platform. Thank you. Because, okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Victoria Tolo Kokwe. It's always a pleasure having you here. This is not your first time. I would also like to invite you again. Every time you come here, we have such spirited, interactive conversation. I like the energy that you bring to this platform. I like to just continue to encourage you to keep conscientizing the people and working in the best interest of Liberia. I know it's difficult being a woman in this political space that you find yourself in, but again, I'd just like to encourage you to keep fighting for the best interest of Liberia. I also want you to know that we do speak about telling people not to buy the people not to purchase their vote. I spoke about that yesterday, so we'll continue to do that. Your feedback is well taken. Thank you so much.
I'm going to speak to Loma the next time.
Amen. Okay. Well, the next time you definitely will speak out Loma for us. I will hold you to it. Thank you so much. Bye. See you later. We're going to do our closing comments. Yes, we're going to do our closing comments. We'll go to Leo, and then I don't know when Mr. Fagon went, and then we're going to go to Conor Gray. Leo, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. In my closing comments, I'm going to quickly address three things. The first thing I will address is the how should I call it? The hypocrisy and the fickle nature of our country. A few years ago, if you remember, it was very heightened about the outright increasing wave of violence against women across the country, including the rape of young babies and girls. And we've seen it everywhere, up to older women. And there was this noise all around the place about feminists in chief, about bringing DNA machine in the country. We have to say these things because we have to hold ourselves accountable. We can't continue this, right? And it hasn't stopped until today's date. We get into another place again that it's part of the things that we just normalizing it. And this violence against women is so bad. It's so brutal. For me, I think there are two things that are the greatest threats to Liberia. Is the abuse of women, violence against women, rape. I spoke to Ninswa Bien Livingstone, who runs, I forgot the organization, Rich, who runs Rich. and some of the horrors that we are going through every day. And to Liberians, our own people are talking about people should talk it the family way in the community. And then there's thinking about sexual molestation, where some of the men that can be marching in the anti-rape march are all having 17-year-old little girlfriend in the corner, sponsoring them because they're sending them to school, they're renting apartment for them. We don't see that as a problem in Liberia, to the point where it's now open, and people don't hide it anymore. And some of our own women are helping these guys to get young little girls. Some of our women are involved, helping these guys in the name of supporting them. I'm speaking about it because what happened to the DNA machine? What happened to the forensic that was going to be brought in? What happened to the fast track rape court that has a lot of rape cases on the docket and nobody? We got a female chief justice now. I'm sending this message to the chief justice, directly to Justice Senayuo, that if there is nothing you should do that should be on your legacy as Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, it should be a change in the dynamics when it comes to dealing with rape issues in such a drastic manner that people should feel it, that somebody else is serious about this. So I'm sending this message directly to the Chief Justice, now that she's a woman as well, to put herself in the shoes of the 3-year-old little girl that gets raped, to put herself in the shoes of the 7-year-old little girl that get raped, to put herself in the shoes of the 16, 17-year-old little girls that are hustling around to pay their tuition, and 50-year-old men are demanding that they must sleep with them before paying their school fees. The second thing I will speak about is this issue about this Zogo issue. It is a shame in our country that we've all conspired to call the perpetrators who turn people into child soldiers, give them guns, ransack our country, call them honorables. But then the victims of this situation insult them every single day in the streets and ignore them like they don't exist. Any presidential candidate that is not able to provide a robust plan about what will become of this situation is not serious to be president of Liberia, and nobody should vote for them. Any presidential candidate that does not provide a plan, a robust, solid plan of what will become of this issue, it means you are just another supporter of the warlords and people who have destroyed our countries. I think every presidential candidate should be forced to address this question about what will we do about this situation, because it is the biggest threat, not just to Liberia's democracy, it is the greatest threat, another ticking time bomb for war that we're going into. The last thing I will close on here, I will read a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King. And it says, "The church must be reminded that it is not the master or the servant of the state, but rather the conscience of the state. It must be the guide and the critic of the state, and never its tool. If the church does not recapture its prophetic zeal, it will become an irrelevant social club without moral or spiritual authority." These are not my words. These are the words of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., that if the church does not take its place it cannot be the master or the servant of the state, it must be the guide and critic of the state. If it does not recapture that prophetic zeal, it becomes another irrelevant social club with no spiritual or moral authority. I'm saying this because the silence of our religious leaders is deafening. The silence of our religious leader is painful. It hurts that they can only stand in the pulpit Sunday and twist sermons to serve the purpose of whose side they are on. We miss the day of Sheka Fumakone. We miss the days of Bishop Marco Pakala Francis. People who stood on the side of the voiceless. So for me, I'm sending this message, and I hope that all can take heed to this quote by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, that the church risks becoming an irrelevant social club without moral or spiritual authority. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leo Johnson. Connor Gray, your turn to close.
All right. First thing I want to make sure I send out a clarion call that the issue of biometric is a farce. No one person can have two biological makeup. If I were to go to a different state now, once they capture my biological makeup, it will be the same Edmund Gray that resides, in this country. For people to come out and pretend as though the the biological intention of evolving a data that they will be used for electioneering purposes. It's just fake. I think that whole process there itself, I would just kick it aside because if it was going right, I don't think anybody was going to be able to register two times. Firstly, I think what they're doing is just data collection. They just ask you for your name and they make it easier when they come up with a barcode. It's not your biological. They're not catching like your fingerprint, like your blood or any part of your body. They just collect your name. My name is this person and that person, so you can give as much names as you can elsewhere in the country. So we should start fooling ourselves that we have a process, that protects people from, registering twice. And then my second thing I want to say is that no one president has ever won, by suppression. The 1980 coup came when President Talbot started, this iron-handed, way of handling our people. And it was probably not him, but there were some family members and so on and so forth. So our people felt they were being marginalized. You understand? And I always say, gone are the days when people like President Tubman will go on the LU campus there, storm the university, bring down the doors, and then they'll go and assess the handwriting that are on those doors, and then they'll start chasing after people. He lost his life, he died maybe natural death, you know, and President Talbot, violently, he was murdered the same way. President Doe, who saw that, in fact, who led that particular rebellion against that democracy, came into being, was even worse. We saw what happened to him. Taylor came the same way. Always people think that when they exert their pressure, they become dictators overnight. People will be afraid. The more you do that, the more you're telling us that you're not a custodian of history. It's always good for us to go back and look at the past, how our country has fell into, or our country has fallen into some of these kinds of this is death trap. When people begin to think that, oh, that thing that happened to those other presidents, it can't happen to me. I am President Weir. This cannot happen. And you have people who are pushing those kinds of ideas into the minds of people for them to become dictators overnight. You have the like of people who are not even generals or historians of military gurus, like what's his name, the Madinga guy who chased after President Talbot. I'm sorry, President Taylor. Through Lord and Model. You have those kinds of people coming up, and nobody will win through
30
the.
seconds, Conagray.
Um, Leo spoke about 10, 15 minutes. That
Okay,
just give me 2 or 3.
sorry. Go ahead. I was just looking at his past.
I mean, definitely, I'm always the one that suffers for the
I
rest.
know, but you always,
But I always
it's simple. I do a chronological order of how people come in. That's how you get whether you ask question first or last.
am
And
marginalized anyway, so I'll take it. That's what it is.
you
But
say you marginalized on what basis? I beg you, please. Okay, go ahead, talk.
so I'm only saying that if people can go back and learn from the scourge of history, then they will know that nobody can win by force. You can never tame the Liberian people to go your way because you are the strongest man. President Doe had about 13, 15,000 military people, strong, well trained. Then they had the police, they had SATU. Those people had more forces on the ground, but what happened? Liberian people, when they're ready to take the mantle, they could care less. They will chase you out. We don't want that anymore. So if Mr. Weir is saying that I'll be the last president they will ever do this to, it's just a matter of time. So I would say, run a country that would benefit every Liberian. You will never win by force. Nobody ever wins. I will say that again. I think the reason why the president came to the United States was to give them this warning that, look, we've seen too many violence. We've seen people dying, losing their lives, and nothing coming out of it. Election is coming up. I'm pretty sure they gave them a formula for peace. They didn't just come here because they want to show him take him on a guided tour. I think they came to just give him a formula to maintain the peace in Liberia. Too many lives have been lost. And I think it's important that we begin to pay attention to that. And you can go after Yeke Kolubah not because he's against you today, but remember, he was brought in there by people. He was voted into power, and Liberia has maintained a relative peace, especially those of us in the opposition. We are the ones who are manning this peace, and not President Awia. So if we continue at this basis, I'll just wait and see how history will turn out. But I think he'll be no different from previous president who chased everybody, and then finally, they lost their life in the hands of the people. Thank you so much.
Are you done? You sure you're done?
I'm done, sir.
Okay, good.
You wanna forget our better closing.
Good. Yes. I just want to say tomorrow, please join us. We'll have a student from the Philippines who will be here to tell us that his tuition was terminated by the government, and he'll be able to explain how and why that happened. We'll also have the Liberian Professional Organization here. They'll be here to speak to us about what it's like doing business in Liberia, what it's like working professionally in Liberia. So just join us tomorrow. I will see you here, same time. Be ready for, this is Spoon. We rock and roll sometimes, and we are interrupted because we like to keep you informed with present issues. So just sit back and hang on with us. We'll bring you the information. It may not come when you want it, but you definitely get there. Leo, take us home with your closing in our Pele language.
Kulen kunan ku shawan kulian katwai kwango paba mantaka na kuga many de noa de ga kaba te ka po age ka velu voti marke de ga da shawa te ka po da lolu da pu de ga de ka po de mapala ka jonka mi ka kaba ga de gaba de ngwai nyawo de ga de ka po ka jonka mi ke kalumna ka voti marka da ba ka la pinye jang gwinga na kama biometrics da ba gera ba ka la pinye jang na kama voter ID da ba de ipo ifa de nota po de ma para kapa yo kapa shong I mi ke ifa I voti ID te do po yo jong po anele benefe otoba ima pa janaba ya ba lila ge I voti ka de ma para kapa de po yo mi yiwa kwa kama bo pon ka de ipa kapa I demo janganye veye yo jong I mi po I mi anele I voti ID I jong po anele otoba I voti manka Choki mengen noa de ga moi de ga noa she de ga la dia kwananda ge do voti manka ifaga banefe de ga de ma gatu ifa pa poli voti manka October so de man para gapa ge de gapa te boy gapa mi de man para glen ifa ta glen show imata glen show shanda gapa ke aya ye le po ipo berla de man gapa te boy gapa mi so nga noa nga kulene nyaga de
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And there you have it. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
All right. Yeah, can see.
Okay, folks, that's it. Join us tomorrow for another edition of the Spawn Talk right here. My name is Yekezi Zobel. Very your place in Kolubah. Bye-bye.